of Mississippi.
Live from Houston, Texas at BBVA Compass Stadium, this is Tiger Football.
It's a beautiful night for football. From BBVA Compass Stadium in downtown Houston, we have a SWAC matchup between the 4-1 Texas Southern Tigers and the Delta Devils from Mississippi Valley State as TSU looks to get back in the win column. And hello, everyone. Welcome to our broadcast location with Butch Alcindor. I'm Brett Dolan. Nick Strong will be along in a moment. Butch, TSU raced out to 4 straight wins, an impressive start, but last week they stumbled on the road at Alabama State. They want to get win number 5 tonight.
They did, and so that means tonight they will have to do something they haven't had to do all season long, and that is to rebound from a loss. But, of course, they had a very, very positive week at practice this week. Coach Asbury said that's something that will be the key. They're going to have to correct some things, come out on the field, and be very productive early in this one.
Let's take a look at the SWAC standings so far in this young season. See Grambling off to a 2-0 start. TSU hoping to be 3-1 after play tonight. And as we switch conferences within the SWAC, you'll notice a couple of teams there at the top, Alcorn State and Alabama State, and there's the Delta Devils.
Mississippi Valley State at the bottom. They are 0-3 in conference, riding a 4-game losing streak, but that could be a very dangerous team coming into this one tonight.
All right, back to last week, a 38-3 loss to Alabama State. Not a lot of things went right for the Tigers. One that did was the play defensively of Darian Claiborne.
That guy has been a monster. He's been all over the field for the Tigers. Of course, he's the transfer from Texas A&M. Came out. He really, really handles that linebacker spot. As you can see, 14 tackles, 10 solos, so that he was all over the field. He is one of their leaders on defense, and he is big when it comes to setting the tone for the night.
That's a big game defensively with those 14 tackles. As we switch over to the Delta Devils, not a lot has gone right for them on the offensive side of the football, but they might have the best wide receiver in the SWAC.
They have struggled. You're right. They try to pass the ball. They want to pass the ball more than run the ball, and that's why they want to get the ball to that guy. Julian Stafford, he is the guy they want to get the ball in his hands, and they will do whatever it takes to do that. He has all the tools. He has the speed. They feel like he can score from any point on the field. So Texas Southern definitely putting that guy in the box tonight, keeping an eye on him.
He's had 3 games with more than 100 yards receiving so far this year. But speaking of threes, the Delta Devils, they've won the last 3 head-to-head matchups with the TSU Tigers. Texas Southern hoping to change that tonight. We'll be back with our opening kick right after this.
When we send an IBW electrician to your job site, I expect my electrical worker to be neat. I expect him to be professional. I expect him to be on time. I expect him to be productive. I expect him to do everything in his power or her power to ensure that employer is successful. Because what's going to get us more work is successful jobs.
The time is now to hire IBW electricians.
Why did she pack these things? I ate one by accident last time, and we won. It's good luck. But it tastes like a dirty old tree branch. What the heck is quinoa? But this is for first place.
What is that, a loofah?
It's a quinoa.
Bud Light, for the fans who do whatever it takes.
TSU Tigers hoping to look for win number 5 tonight and get back on track after that loss last week at Alabama State. They'll kick the football to the Delta Devils first. Butch, what a night for football here from downtown Houston. Perfect weather conditions.
You could not have a more beautiful night to play some football, and we hope to have an exciting game. I know Mississippi Valley State comes in riding that 4-game losing streak, but you mentioned it on the top. They've actually won the last 3 games against Darrell Asbury and the Tigers. So, you know, tonight for Mississippi Valley, this is a chance for them to get back on track. As for the Tigers, they want to come back and stay undefeated and protect that home turf.
Eric Medina has the football teed up. A little pooch kick to start things, and a fair catch made right about the 26-yard line where the Delta Devils will begin.
Good kick right there, and the thing about it, obviously they have a lot of respect for their return team and didn't really want to give those guys a chance for the deep guys to get the ball in their hands. But this Tigers defense has been sensational. You know, they've taken over this motto, they want to bend but not break. And even though they lost big last week, you got to look at the stats. They gave up 5 field goals, which means there could have been 5 touchdowns. So they're trying to live up to that motto at this point.
And they're facing a Delta Devil team averaging less than 17 points a game. That's last in the SWAC. They've had a rotating quarterback contingent throughout the course of this season, using 3 different guys. Quantavious Peterson, though, will take the snap starting tonight. Going up top on the first play from scrimmage, intending his pass on the flat for Jarrell Moore, and it falls incomplete.
Peterson, he had a man open out there, number 33 on the coverage for the Tigers. That's Jarius Moore. He was in the vicinity, but he was beat. He had some room to run, and he hauled that in and made the catch.
Tigers defense 3rd in the SWAC as far as points allowed, hoping to get a 3-and-out here on the first opportunity. There's Stafford. We talked about him catching the football in the end around. He'll pick up a few yards before he's shoved out of bounds near the 30-yard line.
That's one of the keys for the Delta Devils. They want to get that football in his hands any way they can. So we're going to see them using a variety of ways to get him the football to try to just pop him for that big one. But you can see the Tigers had that one snuffed out. They were waiting for it.
It's about 3rd and 5. Stafford, the receiver, in the slot to the left. Moore goes in motion. He's open if Peterson locates him, and that pass was incomplete, thrown into double coverage. Dangerously thrown over the middle. And the Tigers, Jarius Moore was there in coverage.
Jarius Moore getting off to a quick start. He was actually involved in all 3 of those plays, so he was very active early on. And, you know, Mississippi Valley State had an opportunity that did not take advantage of it, so now we're going to see the Tigers with the football.
Shershin Galen is the punter. Tigers hope to get a chance for a big return. Short kick that'll bounce at about the 35 and continue to roll. This will take a Delta Devil bounce back inside the 20-yard line where it will stop. Malik Cross did not get a chance to make a play, but TSU has the football for the first time tonight.
And they're going to go on offense, and we're going to have Jamal Small making a start again at quarterback. He started a couple of games now, of course, and right now we talk about the uniforms.
Team uniforms presented by Russell Athletic. TSU in the brown unis. Beautiful looking uniform tonight with the white pants.
That maroon and gray is fantastic. You know, Brett, they just got those uniforms today. So they broke them out of the box, and they're going to wear them tonight as Jamal Small gets behind center to start the game.
Good looking uniforms. You're right. Jamal Small completing more than 50% of his passes. On the first play from scrimmage, it'll be Davion Porter running into a wall of tacklers and picking up a couple of yards across the 20.
You know, Homer Causey started the season as a starting quarterback, and he injured his knee. He tried to come back a couple of weeks ago. He tried to come back last.
Davon Jones made the tackle after a pickup of 3. That was a bobbled snap by Small. He has to make a play out of nothing, and he'll pick up the first down and more. He's up around the 34-yard line.
And it's his athletic ability that he brings to the table. You mentioned the bobble, scoops it up, and sometimes something really good happens from that. Great spin move. He's not a small quarterback. He's got some size on him, and when he pulls it down and decides to run, he's a load.
Keith Gibson made the tackle, but that broken play turns into a first down for the Tigers, so we'll go back into an old-fashioned. And Porter will work off the left side of the line. Good blocking. Porter to the boundary, and he'll just step out of bounds across the 40.
You know, Brett, talking to Coach Asbury earlier this week, that's something they said they wanted to do tonight. They wanted to get the ball into the running back's hand more. And you can see Porter sweeping around the left side there. Just great blocking to seal that inside. He had a lot of room. You saw number 70 there making a great block to get him going there. Of course, as he goes, so goes the TSU offense.
No doubt about it. Jeremy Johnson, the safety, gets credit for the tackle after a gain of 6. This time, Porter will be wrapped up and thrown backwards for a loss. DeAndre Jackson, the big defensive tackle, on the bottom of the pile, but there were 2 or 3 Delta Devils there in the backfield quickly.
They're going to test him, and they plan to run the football a lot tonight and see if the Delta Devils can stop that run. But so far, the Tigers have had some success, but they're facing a big third down now.
3rd and 5. You know, this Tigers team so balanced in scoring this year, they would love to score early after getting just 3 points all of last week. Scored 30 or more points in 4 other games this season. Trying to stay on the field here. Small will find Porter out of the backfield. Porter needs to reach the 43. He'll get that and more. Just shy of midfield. He'll step out of bounds. He was escorted out by Latrey Jones, the linebacker. But he can beat this defense in so many different ways.
And it was a really good job by Jamal Small because he looked downfield. His first option was not there. He knew he had Porter, so he dumps the ball off, said, hey, get your first down, get out of bounds, and we'll start this thing all over again.
So the Tigers almost into Mississippi Valley State territory. You see Jamal Small walking across that big offensive line. We'll be calling the play from this formation. Here comes the rush. Little lob to Porter. Porter getting a nice block from Rosenberg, the tight end. He'll get inside the 36-yard line and pick up another first down. That's a gain of 14 on the play.
Nothing wrong with getting the ball to this guy with space to work with. He's out there. Good block right there by the tight end, Rosenberg, to free him up. But, as you said, Davion Porter coming out of the backfield, you want him to have a chance to beat somebody one-on-one and see if he can't pick up a first down like he did right there.
Antonio Benson, the Rover, made the tackle, but not before that big gain. And you're right, Davion Porter has been involved in most of the plays so far here offensively for TSU in their first drive, which started from their own 18-yard line. Porter again. Boy, stepped out of the first tackle. Davion Porter inside the 20 with a little flip. He gets down around the 10-yard line. Avery Boyk in the corner, a Delaware native, made the stop, but what a nifty display by young Davion Porter again.
And we just saw an example of why he is so effective. He has great vision. Tried the left side. It was stopped up right there, bounced it back out, cut around the right side, and that's a nice gain. For a second there, I thought he might have pulled something. It looked like he wasn't really all out, but he's still in the ball game. Actually, Jimmy Patipa has come in at tailback, so hopefully Porter was not injured on that play because it looked like something wasn't quite right there at the end.
You're right. Patipa, the former Ole Miss player, checks in. His former school had a big win today at home against Alabama. Patipa will not handle here. There's a fade towards the corner. Malik Cross can't get it. A little bit too strong on that pass. Cross, who's caught 4 touchdowns already this season, hoping to make a play for another.
Well, it's really nice the way they cleared that out. They ran one receiver inside and they let Cross break it out to the flag over there, and it was just a little bit overthrown. I mean, he was open. Could have been a touchdown there, but the Tigers will come back with a 2nd and 10.
Keith Gibson there on coverage. Patipa stuck up at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. Forward progress was stopped. Davon Jones, the middle linebacker, again, he's been involved in a few plays already. 2nd on this team in tackles, and there was no running room for Patipa.
Jimmy Patipa's kind of moved up the depth chart because he had been running 3rd team, and Coach said he wanted to get a look at him tonight in the backfield and see what he can do. So he's getting his opportunity, but now we're going to see Porter heading back into the ball game now. So that's good news to see that he's okay and can come back and hopefully make a play for the Tigers.
Well, he's been a big weapon on this drive. Now it's a 3rd and 9 for Jamal Small and company. Small's thrown for 7 touchdown passes this season. The New Jersey native has 2 receivers to the left. That's the wide side. Looking into the corner for Malik Cross again. Same play, Butch, as 2 plays ago, and the same results.
Yeah, it looked exactly like the same play, and that was it. And the reason why you say, well, why would they run the same play again? Well, it was wide open the first time. They just didn't hit it. And again, it was a little better covered this time, but they still could not make the connection. So Tigers will be out to attempt a field goal. So Chris Medina will get his first attempt of the night.
Such a tough pass to make, though, with that angle. Medina 7 of 9 so far this year in field goal tries. Will attempt a 28-yard kick from the right hash. This one is on the way, and it is good. The Tigers in their opening drive get a field goal at the 9:27 mark here in our first quarter. And they lead the Delta Devils by a score of 3-0.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best. A team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe. Because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
I hate watching with Ramsey. All he does is yell. They can't hear you, Ramsey. But every time he's come over this year, we've won. And he always brings Bud Light. Little dog won't come out from under the couch. But we're winning. I love you, Ramsey.
Bud Light, for the fans who do whatever it takes.
Beautiful night here in downtown Houston. The Tigers score first in their opening drive. In Mississippi Valley State, boy, the first quarter has been such a difficult time for them this year. They have now been outscored 74-16 in the first quarter.
Wow. It's tough when you get behind that far early in a game.
Last week they scored first. They thought it was a good omen. Things did not work out well. Here's a short kick, and the Delta Devils a chance for a return. They'll settle for good field position. There just wasn't much running room for Johnson. Let's take a look at our scoring drive recap, Butch. And the Tigers used a lot of Jamal Small, a lot of Davion Porter in that first.
They did, and one of the things they wanted to work on this week was to have more consistency on offense. They did not have it last week, and that's why they came back, basically getting back to basics, dumping the ball off to Porter, letting him do his thing in space, trying to make the big play, and Davion Porter did not disappoint. That young man has a whale of a lot of talent, and he showed it on that scoring drive.
Quantavious Peterson, again one of 3 quarterbacks that's seen plenty of time this year for the Delta Devils, getting the start after a big game last week. Jarrell Moore just ran into a wave of tacklers, able to bounce off the first and second, but it was Adrian Gamble, the defensive end, who threw him down, maybe even for a loss of 1 or 2 in the play.
You know, and that's been the thing about this TSU defense. These guys they've had goal line stands this year. They've done everything. No place to go on one side. He comes back the other way, and he's locked up by a host of Tigers who are just right there waiting for him to show up there. But it's a big play by the Tigers. LaKendrick Conley with another big play to finish that one off for TSU. And now we have a man down, I think, that's injured for Mississippi Valley State. So we hope he's okay.
That's their starting tailback, Jarrell Moore, who's 5th in the conference in yards per game. And, Butch, on that previous play, we saw him get wrapped up high and then tackled low. And he is not able to get up at the time being.
He took a shot. I mean, he did. Tigers were sitting there waiting for that when he tried to bounce it, and then TSU was right there. It looks like they're looking at his knee maybe.
Pretty good effort to get away from Gamble.
I think it was the knee. You could see right there, number 3, Brandon Thomas coming up with a good shot on him. And you could see the leg just twist a little bit. That's good news right there. It looks like they're helping him up, and hopefully he can get off on his own power. He's trying, but I think they're going to have to help him off. It looks like it was a knee injury.
You see one of the backup quarterbacks, Patrick Ivey, helping his teammate Jarrell Moore towards the Delta Devils sideline.
You can take a look at it again as he tried to bounce it on the outside. You called it. One of the Tigers hit him high, and then right after that it was Brandon Thomas hitting him low, and let's just hope it's not a serious knee injury as they help him over to the bench.
This Delta Devils team 0-3 in conference play, 1-4 overall. Hoping to come on the road and have some success. They may be without their tailback for the remainder of the game. He lost 2 in that previous play. Peterson off that big game last week got drilled from behind. Darian Claiborne, who else got him? And that ball went flying out of bounds, and it did so with the force that Claiborne brought on that hit.
Tigers almost forcing the turnover right there. You can see Claiborne's going to come from the left of your screen. He's blitzes. No one picked up the blitz, and boy, did he nail him right there in the back. He got Peterson, never saw him coming. And like I said, they were very fortunate that that wasn't a turnover. Another second, and TSU may have had the football.
2 big plays by this TSU defense, hoping to get off the field here. Peterson last week threw for 275 yards, couple of touchdowns. That was in and out of the hands of Josh Banks, the receiver. He would have been shy of the first down, but Banks could not hold on, and that's 4th down.
You know, and it's the second drop the Delta Devils have had so far tonight, and that's crucial because when you have a receiver open, gets the ball in his hands, it's a drive killer if you can't make the play. And he was open that time and did not come up with the catch, so they'll be punting that thing away again.
Trey Walker was on coverage, didn't get a chance to make a play. Malik Cross hoping for his opportunity. He will stand at his own 26. Galen had to go low to scoop that snap. No fair catch for Cross, able to step out of a tackle. Malik Cross stumbling near the 34. He was trying to make a play, and the Tigers will have the football back when you come back to BBVA Compass Stadium. TSU leads the Delta Devils 3-0.
I'm Percy Cruzo. If you haven't been to French's Chicken, or if it's been a while since your last visit, no place does chicken like Frenchie's. Our chicken is seasonized with our blend of Creole herbs and spices. Our side dishes include the tastiest greens and red beans and rice you'll ever put in your mouth. Try our new King Roll rotisserie chicken at our Scott Street location. Come on by French's Chicken, where the taste lasts forever.
The environment is my passion. Every day I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Tigers off to a 3-0 lead here in the first quarter, and they'll get the football back with reasonable field position. Jay Kristoff now in a quarterback after Jamal Small operated in that first sequence. Kristoff nearly stumbled. He will locate his tight end Rosenberg out of the backfield. He's out of bounds just across the 40. In fact, he'll be marked at the 41-yard line. Charles Moore there on the stop for the Delta Devils.
That was one of the things Coach Asbury talked about this week. He said, I plan to play both quarterbacks. He's been impressed with both of them because of the injury to Causey. Kristoff and Jamal Small had both gotten in there and had a chance to do something. And, in fact, Kristoff has been very impressive in the time he's had. He's made good use of it.
He has been by far the most accurate passer, 13 of 17 through the air for the sophomore. Louisiana native. Davion Porter trying to scramble for the first down. He should have it. Falls across the 45, and he will move the sticks. Antonio Benson, the linebacker, third on this team in tackles with the stop, but Porter able to move the sticks again.
Watch big Marvin Holly just open a big hole right there for Porter, and that's part of the game plan tonight. The Tigers want to just pound on these guys and pound on these guys until Porter or someone else can break along with them.
You mentioned Marvin Holly. There's a center, 325 pounds, 6'3", maybe bigger than just about any center you'll see. Porter trying to bide his time until they could find a hole. Then he lowered his shoulder and drug Davon Jones for a few extra yards. He's into Delta Devil territory.
Well, the Tigers accomplished two things when they're running the football. One, obviously Porter has been making some big gains on the night, but they also keep the football away from the Delta Devils. You keep that clock rolling, and if you can finish off one of these drives with a touchdown, then you can really, really put Mississippi Valley in a hole early.
Jay Kristoff trying to engineer a scoring drive, his first opportunity tonight. Second and short, 2nd and 2, call it for TSU. Kristoff to run. Boy, nice move at the 40, and he couldn't stay on his feet. He will dive inside the 36-yard line. A nifty pickup by the quarterback on a scramble. It was Moore again trying to save a huge gainer for Delta Devil defense.
Jay Kristoff has some wheels. He's a little faster than Jamal Small. He'll give you that little juke, and if you're not careful, he's going to be going like right there. Good move for a quarterback. He turns into a halfback, and it's a nice gain for a first down.
Didn't look like Mississippi Valley State was prepared for that type of play. This is a defense that's given up 42 points a game, so they've had some challenges this year. Porter trying to pick a hold off the left side of the line, and he can't do so. It was Sean Fugate, defensive end, who was able to track down Porter after a short gain.
Not much for Porter right there as the Delta Devils really defense that play well, but we talked about the fact that they come in riding a 4-game losing streak. But you know what? They beat the Tigers last year in the last minute of the game. They defeated the Tigers on the road, so they have some confidence. You mentioned on the top that they've also won the last 3 games against TSU.
You know, they've had one common opponent with TSU this year, Alabama State, and of course we discussed how TSU did not fare well there last week. The Delta Devils also lost, but by a count of 47-22. Kristoff with time to throw on the run, locating Fred Plummer on the boundary, but he could not keep the foot in bounds. Incomplete.
Kristoff might have been just a little late with that pass. You can see him coming out, rolling right, cranks it out there, and just a second or two late with it, because if he would have been able to deliver it a little earlier, he had his man over there right near the sidelines, and he was open early on.
Replay showed exactly what you mentioned, Butch. He was pumping that ball, waiting to make a throw, and didn't turn it loose. Third and 7 for TSU. They get a field goal on their first drive, trying to stay on the field here. They need to reach about the 26. The Devils showing blitz. Picked up nicely in that pass. Too tall near the 10-yard line. Kristoff had his man. They're open with the step, but the pass was a couple of yards out of his reach. Jeremy Johnson there on coverage. All right, Butch, what do you do here on 4th and 7? Too long to try the field goal, too short to punt it away.
You got to go for it. I would roll Kristoff out right or left and give him a pass run option, because this guy is so quick with his legs, and you may see him pull it down pretty quick because he knows he has the ability to pick up the 7 yards.
Malik Cross, the receiver, the slot here on the right. Intended for Cross towards the pylon, and it is incomplete.
I like the call.
On coverage.
I like the call because it's the field goal would have been iffy from that distance, so why not take your shot, go for it. Might have not threw it down the sideline, but you go for it and try to make that first down and continue the drive.
Don't miss the TSU women's soccer team take on UT Pan American October 7th at 7 o'clock at the HPE Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Log on to tsuball.com today. Delta Devils. Look at that. Looked to be a short gainer. Ends up almost an 11-yard run. Now remember, Jarrell Moore had to come off the field, so Charlie Crenshaw, freshman, steps in and picks up a nice gain even though he can't get that shirt untucked. So after the first down carry, nothing there. You see a couple of the Tigers, including Derek Lyles, in the bottom of that pile.
And you can see Mississippi Valley right now really trying to pick up the tempo in this. They don't like the way this game is going. They're trying to pick up the tempo some and make the Tigers rush a little bit.
Salisbury also involved in that play, so no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Peterson up top. His pass in and out of the hands of Stafford. And Butch, that's one of the few times they've targeted him tonight, and that was close. He just couldn't hold on.
But it was another drop pass, and it's a drive killer. I mean, that should have been caught. He was in a crowd, and he was going to take a hit. But that was right there on the money on the slant pass, and he just could not haul it in. So now you got a 3rd and long.
Wonder if he was taking a peek at Latevin Wilcox, who was charging fast. But after that big pickup from Crenshaw on first down, quickly 3rd and a long 9 for Mississippi Valley State. 4 receivers in the formation, and Peterson just lucky to get back on top of that football. Couldn't collect it. Wire was one of those on the bottom of the pile, along with Derek Lyles. The 2 defensive tackles met at the quarterback.
That was just a disaster from the start. Tried to pick it up, picked up with his eyes first. He saw the defenders coming, and after that, he couldn't even get the football up. So when you got 3rd and 9 and that happens, you're not going to make too many first downs.
Already the 3rd opportunity for Malik Cross, maybe to return a punt. Shershin Galen, Miami native, a senior, will punt. Looks like the Delta Devils want a timeout instead with 3:32 to play here in our first quarter.
We talked about it on the top, how the Tigers have played so well at home. You know, they were 4-0 when they went on the road last week, and that's one of the things Coach was going to stress to the guys this week. Let's protect our home turf. Let's go out there and continue to play well at home and keep that home court, that home field winning streak going, because you feel like if you win your games at home, then all you need to do is pop up and just win a couple of conference games on the road, and you'll be okay.
See the Tigers in a few of the different rankings. There's your scoreboard from the SWAC. Southern leading in the 4th quarter, trying to pick up their 3rd win. Prairie View and Jackson State will kick in about a half an hour. Galen will kick here. It's a high spiral boot. It'll be taken with a fair catch, and it was bobbled by Cross right into the hands of a Delta Devil at the 25. No indication yet, but Butch, there were 3 or 4 white jerseys there, and only Cross to compete for TSU.
That was one of the things, too, the Tigers wanted to stay away from tonight. He made a good call trying to make the fair catch, but the ball hits his knee. It pops out, and as you said, if he got it, he's one heck of a guy, because there were a lot of white shirts down there. He went after it. And it's going to be Mississippi Valley ball. Tigers defense is back on the field.
Might have been Tyreek Scott who came up with the ball, and you'll see Peterson and the Delta Devils with great field position, and this is an early test, Butch, for this TSU defense to see if they can keep him out of the end zone.
Perfect opportunity. Their motto was bend but don't break, and now they have a chance to step up and do that right here.
New tailback is Deshaun Davis, the 3rd different running back they have used tonight, and Davis will carry, bouncing backwards, staying on his feet. He is a load to bring down. He'll spin inside the 15, pick up a couple of extra yards before Jarius Moore wrapped him up. But you see Deshaun Davis, 6'2", 240 pounds, and he's not easy to get those arms around.
He's a load, no doubt about that.
Gain 4 now. Peterson will keep. Big seam. Peterson, though, flipped up an open field tackle, drops him. Latevin Wilcox saved a first down.
Latevin Wilcox up quickly from that safety position to make a hit. Watch him come up right in there, and a good open field tackle. It was a quarterback, but he got him down.
Well, that's textbook. Peterson will run again. He should have the first down. He's marked at about the 16. He only had to get inside the 18 for a fresh set of downs, and that is a first for the Delta Devils.
a host of Tigers to knock him down there. So now it's going to come up to this. That key down is going to be, actually they said he picked up the first down. So, wow, and you can see they're still picking up the pace, trying to keep the Tigers off balance a little bit.
Julian Stafford, one of 3 wide receivers to the left. Peterson having a hard time getting the play in from the sideline. Still plenty of time on the clock. There's the fade into the corner of the end zone, and the pass was out of the reach of Josh Banks. Banks, a big man, 6'4", 235 pounds. Trey Walker giving up some inches, but he was there on coverage closely.
Peterson tried the little pump out toward the sideline. He was hoping the Tigers would bite, but they stayed with Banks all the way down there. Good coverage by TSU.
Got to believe in the SWAC. You don't have too many 6'4" receivers covered by 6'2" corners.
Trey Walker with a great play.
Deshaun Davis rumbling towards the end zone. He's in. A touchdown from 17 yards, and the Delta Devils in the end zone for the first time tonight.
As we take another look at it, I think you can see they just crossed the Tigers up on this one. I think they were looking past all the way. They slipped the handoff inside, and the big fella knows what to do with it. I mean, he just banged his way right in there. Deshaun Davis. And it just really was, after he broke the initial line, there wasn't anybody left to try to knock him down.
3rd touchdown of the season for Davis. Now Galen on to try and add the extra point. And the kick is through. $1:59 to play on our opening quarter. Mississippi Valley State with the lead over TSU 7-3, cashing in the fumbled punt, a short field, and they find the end zone.
How many times do you see that after a turnover, though? You turn the ball over in your own territory, something bad usually happens, and that's what happened tonight. And one of the big keys from Mississippi Valley, you would see on that possession that they picked up the tempo. They came out, they wanted to go faster, they wanted to get the guys up to the line quicker, and apparently they found something, because that's when they started to run the ball a little bit more.
Deshaun Davis was a nice compliment to that offense, and I mentioned some of the gory numbers for Mississippi Valley State this year. That's just their 12th touchdown they've scored compared to 29 they have allowed. So they'll take some points any which way they can to try and gain some momentum and turn things around. They've done that for the time being.
Well, they haven't forced a lot of turnovers, and that's one of the keys. A lot of times you get some extra points by forcing the ball back over to your side and giving it back to your offense, and they haven't done that well so far this year. But tonight, they have the first turnover of the game.
LaChristopher Lee, one of the 2 deep men for the Tigers. This will be a squib kick picked up by Taylor. Tigers will have good field position, although not much of a return. That scrum still moving to about the 37 where TSU will start. Not a long scoring drive for Mississippi Valley State. They were able to cash in the touchdown after this fumbled punt from Malik Cross.
It's a huge turnover. The ball bounced off his knee and it was out there. Mississippi Valley made the recovery, and after that it was let's pick up the tempo and let's run the football a little bit and see if we can't make them stop our run. Peterson had that one out there, could not connect on that one, but then he comes right back to Davis and they score the touchdown.
7-3 Mississippi Valley State. Christoph was the quarterback on the previous drive. Now Jamal Small back in. And Patipa, boy, he was flipped hard. Latrey Jones, Mississippi native, the linebacker who leads this team in tackles, came flying in for a 3-yard loss.
Latrey Jones was in the backfield in a hurry, and that's something you don't want to see happen right there. He got in scot-free, made the big hit, and Tigers suffer a loss on the play.
So a 2nd and 13 play. Double tight end formation here for TSU. And another negative play as Small is dropped. Boy, he took a 1-2 punch, got hit hard, and he's dropped at about the 25-yard line.
As you can see, Mississippi Valley had the rush coming again. They pushed the pocket back, and he's hit hard by number 96 right there, Sean Fugit, and he goes down. So that turnover has actually turned the momentum over in this game. The momentum is all in green and white right now.
Phoenix native, 6'2", 240 pounds with that sack. Now it's a 3rd and 22 facing TSU. They'll go with a more conservative play and try and gain a yard, but even that may be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. No running room whatsoever for Patipa.
There's nothing
Jones
there.
Again.
Nothing at all there at all, and you can tell the Delta Devils are fired up right now, so it's going to be up to that TSU defense to get back out there and get the football and hand it back to the offense.
Well, Butch, it's amazing what turnovers do to switch momentum in a football game.
And the Tigers were aware of that coming in, though, because Coach wanted to stress just the fact that these guys had lost 4 in a row. Don't think they're going to come in here and lay down.
Corey Carter, the best punter in the SWAC, will bounce one towards Avery Boykin. Boykin wrapped up immediately. Tremendous special teams play. Nothing there for Boykin. And we'll step aside at the end of our first quarter. TSU scored first, but it's the Delta Devils with a 7-3 lead.
Hello, I'm Alan Helfman, Vice President of River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge. This is my friend and customer, Miss Georgia Provost. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Chrysler 300. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Ellen is the only car dealer I will ever buy a car from.
Come see us at Kirby and the Southwest Freeway.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best. A team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe, because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
It's the end of an era.
All the parties, the stories.
I'm gonna miss your smell. You were my first.
What? I knew it. I knew it.
It's true.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I broke your leg. I wrote a song. Sorry. Here we go.
Keep the good times going with the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Whoa. Check out this new couch.
Delta Devils have the football to start our second quarter with the 7-3 lead. After the punt, they will begin from their own 30. Quantavius Peterson is the quarterback. Charlie Crenshaw, the backup tailback, replacing Jarrell Moore. Peterson gets rid of that football quickly and drops one incomplete in front of Trey Ford. Let's send things downstairs and check in with Nick Strong.
Not a good attitude down here on the sidelines for the Tigers. The Mississippi Valley Delta Devils didn't come into this game great statistically, but head coach Darrell Lasberry and defensive coordinator Michael Veit are really trying to get on their guys. Matter of fact, number 87, Justin Wheat, said, "We are giving them too much hope. This is not what they have expected. They're going to come out this drive, and they're going to try to get interception." That was the mood on the sidelines. Back up to you guys.
Thank you, Nick. Fumbled snap. Peterson's had a hard time with that a few different occasions tonight, and he's dropped. It was Quentin Salisbury, first man there, his fourth tackle for a loss this year, and Peterson just lucky to get back on top of that football, Butch.
Salisbury and Moore, both of them in the backfield quickly, and it's amazing. You fumble the ball like that, it does not take long for the defenders to get there. So the Tigers defense really need to get off the field after this play. This is a huge play right here.
Good point from Nick, giving them too much hope. Now it's 3rd and 13. Peterson flushed from the pocket, and he will not get away from the 3rd or 4th wave of tacklers.
Great defense. Claiborne and company right there. He scrambled around, tried to get out, but he's not going to get past number 8. But now we have a flag on the field, and this could be another crucial mistake.
So that flag come flying in late. Pushing and shoving maybe after the whistle. The Tigers really can't afford this penalty to be on them after they were ready to get the football back.
After the play, personal foul, necessary roughness, number 21 on the defense, 15-yard penalty, includes automatic first down.
Demetrius Johnson has this number called by our referee, John Allman. And instead of getting the football back with great field position, Butch, We'll watch it here as this play continues. And here's the personal foul, the leap into the pile at the end.
Well, Coach Asbury is not going to be very happy about that, because what he wants his team to do is play with composure. That is not composure. You had the play stop. You're not going to do anything by jumping on top of that pile.
It's Stafford in motion. And there's big Deshaun Davis, who scored the touchdown on the previous drive. He runs into 4 or 5 of those maroon jerseys, maybe for a gain of a yard on the play.
But Kendrick Conley was another one of the guys up in a hurry to try to stop this play. You saw Moore right there in there early, and this is what this defense has done all year long. These guys have been aggressive. They've been flying around the field, and now it appears like we have a Tiger that might be injured down there. Looks like Claiborne.
It is Claiborne. A man with a big game that would have topped 50 tackles on the season already. Remember, this was a guy who had a huge season last year for Texas A&M defensively. Off to a great start this year for TSU. 14 tackles last week, and let's see if we can see what happened to Claiborne at the end.
Well, it looked like they were examining his knee, which is not, and that's the first thing he grabbed after he went down. He went down grabbing that knee, so that's not a good sign at all.
Almost didn't even look like there was contact on the area he's holding, so he's being attended to now by the TSU trainers. Coach Asbury out there on the field.
Of course, we hope he's all right, but boy, what a loss that would be for the Tigers if he could not if he could not continue, or if it was a serious injury.
Claiborne being helped up, but for the time being unable to put a lot of weight on that leg, and he will be assisted off. One more look at the play with Darian Claiborne. You'll see him right there at the top of your screen getting pushed from Stafford. Got rolled up on maybe a bit from behind by some friendly fire.
Oh, that's tough, and you really, really hate to see that. I know injuries are a part of this game, but, you know, we just hope for the best for him going over to the sidelines. They're going to take a look at that and see, and I'm sure Nick will get a word in and maybe pass along exactly what happened to him on that play.
Especially because it looked like that play was over. He really wasn't involved at the center of it. 2nd and 9 after that play on that injury to Claiborne. Peterson steps up into the pocket. Now he'll have to run. He's into Tiger territory. There's a flag back in the area of holding. If the play stands, the Delta Devils will have a first down on the quarterback scramble. Conley made the stop, but let's see what the marker's about.
Holding. Number 77 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's Trayvon Wallace, the 6'6 junior right tackle out of Memphis, flagged and negates the big pickup from his quarterback Peterson.
And you could see it right there at the top on the right side of your screen there. He just got connected, and he would not let his man go, and that's a huge penalty. It was Justin Wheat. He was holding it on the play. Justin could not get away, but that time Peterson made a positive play. He made up his mind early, kept the football, had a big game, but the holding penalty is going to wipe it all out.
2nd and 19. Peterson completing 37% of his passes entering play today. And you could see at times maybe when something's not available immediately, he'll look to use his legs and try and scramble. He'll get rid of this one quickly to get Stafford involved. The 3rd and 4th wave of Tiger tacklers will drop him. Finally, Adrian Gamble there to clean up. Looking at Stafford, here's a guy coming in with 22 catches. He had 12 last week against Alabama State. He had 4 against Alabama A&M, couple of touchdowns earlier. And, Butch, they're just trying to get the ball in his hands, even if it's a short pickup.
He's going to attract a crowd, too. I mean, the TSU he's the guy they're focusing on tonight. And so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Mississippi Valley can come up with ways to get him the ball where he can be effective.
Delta Devils need a play here on 3rd and 21. So again, Peterson will run. He just lost the football. And it looks like the Tigers should have it if they can cover it. The Tigers have a chance for a scoop and score. Into the end zone, touchdown.
Number 29, Latevin Wilcox. What a scoop, and that ball, no one could pick it up. Several players tried to get their hands on it. It kept scooting around before Wilcox came in and scooped it up and took it to the house.
The Bay City native gets the touchdown, and Butch, I was with you. Once this ball was fumbled, you just want the Tigers to cover it.
He got out of the pocket. It was a good run, but he lost the handle on the football. There's Wilcox scooping it up, and I tell you what, he did not hesitate. He goes right down that sideline in for the touchdown.
Wilcox with the defensive score, and Peterson lost that football without any pressure. Just came out of his hand.
You know, sometimes the football gods give it, and sometimes they take it away. They gave him an early one down here, and that one was TSU's.
Medina for the extra point, and it's true. New score, 11:51 to play in our second quarter. It's now the Tigers leading the Delta Devils 10-7.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
Tigers defense turning a fumble into some offense and a touchdown and a 10-7 lead early here in our second quarter from BBVA Compass Stadium in downtown Houston. Butch Alcindor, Brett Dolan, great to have you with us tonight. Nick Strong down on the sidelines. Latevin Wilcox catching his breath after a touchdown run, nearly matching his uniform number, and the fumble recovery. Medina with another pooch kick. They've been trying to keep this away from the Delta Devils. Johnson just has nowhere to go. Wrapped up at about the 26.
You know, once again for TSU, it's been the defense setting the tone. Peterson scrambling out of the pocket. Looked like he had a big play, and then he dropped the ball. But what a huge play by Latevin Wilcox. Scooped it up, and he made the turn around the sidelines. But what a big play to come up right after you lose your defensive leader. You have Claiborne going out with a possible knee injury at this point, and it seems like that fired up this defense a little bit.
Speaking of Claiborne, let's check in with Nick and get an injury update.
Hey guys, got some good news and got some bad news. Obviously the good news is the TSU Tigers are winning 10-7, but the bad news, it looks like number 8, one of the team leaders, Darian Claiborne, he's going to be out for the game, and it may be even longer than that. He's out with a knee injury, and it's not looking good for Darian Claiborne. Back up to you guys.
Charlie Crenshaw wrapped up and thrown backwards by Salisbury, and well, Salisbury just one of a handful of Tigers that are going to have to pick up the slack with Claiborne on the bench for the remainder of the game.
Big play in the backfield. Salisbury, with the penetration, got back there and got his head up and found that ball carrier really quick. And this defense looks like they're really, really fired up right now.
Forcing the Delta Devils into a lot of 2nd and 12s and 3rd and 19s here in the second quarter. Peterson doesn't look comfortable throwing the football. Able to run quickly, and he was dropped by Conley for another loss on the play.
Well, that little fake didn't fool anybody, and the Tigers were right there inside waiting for him. He took it, he faked the reversed around, and kept it inside, and that's a very, very short gain, if anything at all.
So the junior quarterback Peterson hasn't been really comfortable in some of these throwing downs. Facing one here, 3rd and 11 2 receivers to each side of the formation. Peterson being chased. Peterson wrapped up and thrown backwards. Derek Lyles was the first man there. He had some company. Tigers saying they had the football.
Big Derek Lyles back there making it happen. You could see Peterson was feeling the heat right there. He's pressured out by number 50, Adrian Gamble. And then Lyles comes on, and the ball did pop out.
Wire also pursuing. Tigers came up with a football, but it'll be 4th down instead as you see Derek Lyles walk off the field. Another big play for TSU, and they'll force a punt from Galen.
That Tigers defense just swarming right now.
Drew Het back with a high catch of that punt. So there's a marker that comes flying in. In fact, multiple markers. So what was going to be decent field position may see the Tigers go in reverse.
During the return, blocking the back, number 23 on the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Michael Holmes, the guilty party. We'll see it again here. There it is, probably at the top of your screen. That was pretty easy to spot, Butch.
That's one of the things the Tigers have been working on. They had a record amount of penalties in the first game of the year versus Prairie View. They've cut them down a lot, and tonight, though, they're making these key little mistakes, and that's what's actually keeping Mississippi Valley in this ball game, because if not for the mistakes, the Tigers would be in front.
Catch every home game live via our web stream at tsuball.com/live, tsuball.com for your #1 source for Tiger football. Tigers begin from their own 17. Just running in circles is Kristoff. Had his jersey grabbed. He was able to stay on his feet, but then he realized he was going in the wrong direction.
Jay made a nice run on the play, keeps it up down through the middle, actually broke the tackle and said, well, wait a minute, do I really want to try it? No, I'm going to go down and we're going to start over again. But it's a nice game for the Tigers right there. And coach is staying with his game plan because he said he wanted to use both quarterbacks tonight, and he's alternating. Both guys are getting significant playing time.
Kristoff had a pretty decent drive. It just stalled as the Tigers went for it on 4th down. There's Malik Cross catching a pass and stepping out shy of the 30. Cross more than 20 catches on the season for the junior. Which he's such a weapon. You have to get the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and it's just a simple little out pattern right there. Kristoff got rid of the ball on time. He got it a nice gain for the Tigers as they start the drive. That's a first down on the play. So, and that's what they want to do, more of that stuff. And you're going to look, they're going to set up a deep pass. They're going to throw a couple more of these short passes, and all of a sudden, Kristoff is going to crank it deep.
Tigers in an I formation. Davion Porter back in as the tailback. Averages just under 100 yards a game. He'll fight for a few yards up to about the 35. Which what I like about Porter is he's a guy that if you need him to hit the corner hard, he can. But a few times he almost analyzes the hole. He studies it for that split second before he hits it.
He does, and he also does an excellent job of setting up the defender. He has a variety of speeds. He'll come in, you'll see him slowing down and then speeding up. He'll set these guys, and that's why he gets around the corner so fast. He comes out there and he just makes them think they're going to make the tackle, and then he shifts into another gear.
Picked up 5 yards on what looked to be maybe a possible gain of 2 or 3, and sometimes those additional yards can be big. So it's 2nd and 5 for TSU, and Kristoff back. Kristoff will just turn and run and try and get a couple of yards. He will jump out of bounds, maybe for a pickup of 1, but it'll be 3rd and 4 upcoming.
That time he could feel the pressure coming, and he kind of pulled it down in a hurry, pulled it down very quickly. An interesting note this week, Brett, is Coach Asbury said last week he may have had his hand in the jar, the cookie jar, a little too much. He was calling some of the plays. He said this week I'm going to leave all that to Vyron Brown. That's his job. He's our offensive coordinator. He said I'm taking my hands out of that cookie jar.
It's so tempting, though, isn't it?
It is.
You got that headset on? Ladarius Hooker, the linebacker, credited with that tackle, but it's the 3rd and a long 4, maybe 3rd and 5. Kristoff back, has time, sings one for a first down at the 45-yard line. Good catch made by Fred Plummer. It's his 14th grab of the year, low throw, and he just went down to make sure he got those hands underneath.
But look at that window he had to throw. The lineman just cleared that thing out. He had a perfect view right in the Plummer, put the ball low and away where only Plummer could make the catch. That's a fine play for a first down.
So the Tigers approaching midfield, leading by 3 points. And this time Davion Porter unable to get out of the way of Latrey Jones. He was there almost immediately.
There's something that just didn't look right with that play. There was a little too much penetration. I think as Christoph turned one way right there, it looked like he almost turned the wrong way, but it just, something didn't work with that play because the Delta Devils had a lot of people in the backfield, and they came on and really made a good play there. Adrian Jackson.
Seems like both of these teams at times have been fighting the negative plays, forcing them into second or third and longs. But what I like about Christoph, he's been able to stand in that pocket that extra split second to make a throw. See if he does so here. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage. And a heads-up play made by Christoph himself to swat down the pass so it didn't get picked.
What a smart heads-up play by Jay Christoph. He fired the pass. You're going to take a look right here. It's tipped up by number 99 right there. He tips it up in the air. That's DeAndre Jackson. And then Christoph, talk about being heads up, runs in and just spiked that thing into the ground to keep anyone from having a chance to make the interception.
It was a great volleyball spike. Now he can catch that pass, but he can't throw it again. He just wanted to knock it down, save himself a hit or a pick. Tigers have to reach the 45 of Mississippi Valley State. And that play blown dead. It's like a procedure penalty. We haven't been inundated with too many penalties yet. I'm just warning you, Butch, the last 3 college games I've had, I'm not kidding, combined penalty yards in these last 3 games, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 650 yards.
Wow. That could also make for a long night, but this is, I think I said it earlier, this is something the Tigers have been trying to address. They had a lot of penalties in the first game of the year, and they cut it down some, but it's creeping back into the game plan tonight, and they want to get rid of those penalties.
Yeah, it can just be drive killers because this is 3rd and forever, nearly 3rd and 20, and that pass was dropped. Now, it would have been well shy of the marker. It was Billy Rosenberg, the tight end, but he was dropped, pass kicked loose. Rosenberg can't hold on.
Christoph back again. He had a good window to fire that ball, threw a strike to Rosenberg, and Billy's made some good catches this year. Just could not hang on to that one, though. But he was right on the money, so the Tigers will turn it back over to Mississippi Valley State.
Jeremy Johnson, the safety, was there. So here's Corey Carter. He averages nearly 47 yards a kick. Again, tops in the SWAC. This a low short kick taken by Boykin. He fumbled it. It's loose again. And the Delta Devils, I believe, have the football. And Boykin, after all that, had the ball bounce back to him, I believe. Talk about a fortunate play.
That was a huge play, and TSU came oh so close to making that recovery right there, and that would have set the Tigers up in great field position. Boykin, as you mentioned, came in on the run, took his eyes off the ball because he could see those maroon jerseys flying around him, and then another mad scramble for the football, and we have yet another injury.
We're going to have to see that play again after this injury timeout. 5:53 to play in the half. The Tigers lead it by 3.
When we send an IBW electrician to your job site, I expect my electrical worker to be neat. I expect him to be professional. I expect him to be on time. I expect him to be productive. I expect him to do everything in his power or her power to ensure that employer is successful. Because what's going to get us more work is successful jobs.
The time is now to hire IBW electricians.
BBVA Compass Stadium, downtown Houston. The Tigers lead at 10-7. The Delta Devils could not be luckier to get that football back after a fumbled punt. We may have to see that one again. Running play for Deshaun Davis, a couple of yards. Butch, here's Boykin. Now watch this ball hit about 4 different guys before it comes back to him.
Several Tigers had a shot. Terry Smith, number 50, looked like he was going to grab it for TSU. He couldn't come up with it. And we've seen a couple of scrambles tonight before somebody could finally corral the ball.
That's like losing your wallet. 6 or 7 different guys have a hand on it before you get it back. And there, Patrick Ivy, I believe, is in the game, and he swatted down a miss. So both quarterbacks have had a pass deflected that they've swatted to the ground to keep the ball from being picked.
And you see the defensive penetration right there, and that's what causes the block pass, because you got close enough to the quarterback and you get that big hand up in the air, and then Tigers looking for another turnover that just wasn't to be.
Patrick Ivy completes 43% of his passes, 5 touchdowns, 5 picks, part of this rotating trio of quarterbacks, also necessitated by some injuries. So we've seen 2 for each side. There's a pass to Stafford. He nearly lost that ball into the hands of a Tiger before he finally collected on a short gain. 3rd and 5, and he went backwards.
Julian Stafford looked like he was going to give that one up. I mean, everybody's juggling the ball tonight. So both teams a little unsettled at this point. And you saw him. He has not been a factor in the ball game. They've tried to get him the football several different ways, and just can't really. The Tigers are doing a really good job defending him. There's always a lot of maroon jerseys around when he has the football.
If we had light rain falling tonight, you say the football's slippery with all the players. I got it, you take it, let me hold on to it. But a perfect night, another punt for Galen. Here is a high spiral. Fair catch will be made for at about the 27. So the Tigers have the football back. We'll step aside. 4:39 to play in the half. Low scoring game, but the Tigers lead it 10-7.
Hello, I'm Alan Helfman, Vice President of River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge. This is my friend and customer, Miss Georgia Provost. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Chrysler 300. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Ellen is the only car dealer I will ever buy a car from.
Come see us at Kirby and the Southwest Freeway.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best. A team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe. Because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at gocoastguard.com.
Ugh, why did she pack these things? I ate one by accident last time, and we won. It's good luck. But it tastes like a dirty old tree branch. What the heck is Quino? But this is for first place.
What is that, a loofah?
It's a Quino.
Bud Light, for the fans who do whatever it takes.
Tigers hoping for a sustained drive here at the end of the second quarter, leading by 3 points. Jamal Small back in at quarterback. He's alternated tonight with Kristoff. But let's see if Davion Porter just carries the football a handful of times on this drive. He'll start it on play 1, pick up 5 or 6 yards, and that's always important on first down.
Looks like they're trying to go back to basics with him and going back to what was working earlier in the game. Let's get the ball to Davion, use that big offensive line, and then we'll just plow in right behind him right there. Mathis Ellis with a nice block inside to seal that thing off to help Porter pick up a nice gain.
Charles Moore on the stop, but it'll be 2nd and 5. And Jamal Small, the 6'3" senior, took a knee quickly. Felt like maybe the Delta Devils came across that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they did. Looks like it was DeAndre Jackson. So that'll give the Tigers 5 and you know, starting a little momentum now going the other way.
See if this is good enough for the first down. Second and inches. Now you've got a free play possibility if the Tigers want to be so daring.
Make a fake to Davion Porter, pull that ball out and crank it deep. Let's take a look.
Boy, so many teams in today's college football can't execute this play because they always go from the gun or the spread formation. The Tigers oftentimes will go under center, use the I formation, easily able to handle some of these situations with just a little quarterback purge, and that's a pickup of 2 or 3 when they needed a few inches to move the sticks.
And Jamal Small, we talked about it at the beginning. He has that big body. He can run that quarterback sneak and get you a couple of yards almost at will. You see him right there taking the ball on the quarterback sneak, and you see the surge just moving out the Mississippi Valley players. A big first down for TSU.
Darius Hooker, the middle linebacker, called a lot tonight. His name has. He made the stop at a fresh set of downs for TSU, and they're back to Porter on the ground with a head of steam. Ran into a wave of tacklers. It was Hooker again, I think, who wrapped him up after a couple of yards, and that time Porter was trying to hit that hole. There was just nothing there.
Nothing there on the play. You're going to see the Delta Devils just stack it up, but I think if Coach Asbury had his way, they would take it down the field, running the football all the way, burning that clock down, getting a touchdown, and then going into the locker room.
Good point. Inside 3.5 minutes. Another marker down. This time maybe movement out of TSU. Each team pointing towards the other.
False start. 71 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's Adrian Jackson. He is the backup right guard out of Longview, the guilty party.
You can see it right there. He barely flinched, but it was enough to entice the defense, and once that happened, they're going to drop that flag every time.
You're seeing the Delta Devils really play with some energy and some enthusiasm defensively, up, jumping around, try to get the Tigers to jump. That's where Butch, this long sustained drive, if it results in points, would be very effective. Oh my goodness. Jeremiah Russell just hit small. He must not have seen the big man coming, and that's a 6'3", 260-pound man rumbling in his face.
It looked like they were trying to set up the screen, and it looked like the Delta Devils read it on both ends. They had running backs on both sides. There's a chance to double screen where you can go to either side, and a smart play by Small to hang on to that ball, because had he thrown it, it might have been picked off, because they were just sitting out there waiting on it, and he saw that, and that's why he pulled it down and just took his medicine on that play.
He couldn't have fumbled it because the ball was squished into his gut with that hit from Russell. Talk about second and third and longs. Here is another one, 3rd and 23, and the Tigers won't even risk it. They'll go to Porter on the ground, yet he was one maybe tackle away from breaking it into the second level, but it'll be 4th and long, and the Tigers will have to punt again.
Key penalties can just stop a drive, and that's what happened here. The Tigers were rolling along. They got that first down, and then they jumped offensively. And that will really hurt you. Davion Porter there just trying to, like you said before, trying to make the safe play. Let's not do anything silly. Let's not turn it over. Let's just go let the defense get the ball again for us.
Another tackle from Hooker forces this punt from Corey Carter. Fair catch made at about the 23. Hey, you can catch the TSU football replay in HD after every home game on Tuesdays at noon, only on CSN Houston, the home of Tiger football. Less than a minute 50 to go here in our first half.
You can see the Delta Devils over there huddled up talking about what they want to do offensively, but you know they just have to be overjoyed at this point to be locked in a 10-7 game with 1:45 left to go in the second quarter.
Bush, having said that now, kind of a moral victory for them to be so close. Do you get daring and gamble a bit, or are you conservative here, not trying to turn the football over?
You know, I think you've lost 4 games in a row. What do you have to lose? You know, you go down, try to get the ball upfield, and maybe even get a field goal.
There's our answer. Ivy going up top, not a good ball. He'll throw that towards the boundary, towards Keenan Daniels into double coverage.
But there's always the possibility when you throw the ball up like that, even though it's against double coverage, there's a possibility of a penalty. And when you're talking about late in the half, they took their shot.
Threw that one about 7 yards out of bounds, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Still a lot of time. TSU might think about a timeout if they can get a stop.
Looks like Patrick Ivey is in the ballgame now at quarterback.
He's been in there for a couple of drives replacing Peterson. Really, Peterson hasn't looked to go up top. Ivey maybe a little more of the passer, at least willing to throw, although he can't get loose. He's dropped and sacked by Arthel Wire, the junior from Baton Rouge.
What an outstanding play that is. You're going to see Arthrell make the turn right here. They're running a stunt inside. He comes around the outside, and Mississippi Valley does not pick it up. They do not pick it up, and he drags him down. What a big play for the Tigers, and what a time to call that on the defensive line.
Tackles for loss. That's been the theme of the second quarter, nearing the 1 minute mark before the half. Delta Devils with the ball, but down by 3. Ivey flips one out to Davis. Davis has nowhere to go. He was tripped up by Brandon Thomas. First team all-SWAC preseason pick, came up from a safety spot to make a shoestring tackle.
Brandon Thomas being aggressive right there. He saw Davis had the football, came in there. He said, I'm not going to worry about taking on this big guy. He goes in low and knocked him down. So now we have a situation with 38 seconds left where TSU has a chance to get some points on the board.
And they used one of their timeouts to stop the clock with 38 seconds. The Delta Devils will have to punt from near their goal line, so maybe a chance with a decent return will give them a short field and a chance to add points, because if you're just joining us, you see that 10-7 score. The Delta Devils scored on a 22-yard drive after a fumbled punt, but TSU's lone touchdown came on a scoop and score from Latevin Wilcox.
Well, and what we're seeing right now is the downside, the other side of that strategy, because they could have just run the clock out and went into the locker room trailing 10-7, but they tried to move it down and get something on the board, and now they've left a lot of time for TSU to have a chance to put some points on the board.
That's why this conservative coach from the press box was thinking about trying to run out some time. Instead, they went backwards, stopped the clock. Now they have to punt. Back to return is Dejan Druhet. And he's going to get a chance if he can play this one on a bounce. Instead, it's going to kill some time with a slow roll inside the 45. You have got to field that football. They lost 10 yards. They lost 10 seconds. That doesn't work.
Well, and it was a line drive kick when the punter just barely got it out of there. It's a line drive kick. It looked like one, but he had that second of indecision, and once you think too long, you're wrong. So
That's right.
He left it. He took the safety part there and decided to let it go, and so the Tigers will start right there.
They're going to need a big play just to get into field goal range. Jay Kristoff will be back taking the football from this spread formation. All three receivers lined up to the left of your screen. Kristoff has a lot of running room to the right. Needs to try and get out of bounds. He does after he picks up the first down. Nimble feet on the boundary, and he'll be at the 48 of the Delta Devils.
You know, they're one pass away from having a field goal attempt. If they could pick up another 15 or so yards, give Medina a really good shot at getting the three-pointer off.
Kristoff looking to the boundary. He will have Plummer and Cross lined up to the left with Carpenter, the outside receiver. So again, all three, the trips to the left. Kristoff tries to get out of that tackle, and he can't do so. He is going to be dropped by Sean Fugate. Had he been able to step out of that tackle, Butch, he had some running room to the boundary.
He had some running room out there, and he had a couple of receivers running down the sideline.
Try snap the football one final time, and they cannot do so. It brings us to the end of our second quarter. We're at the half. A defense-oriented second quarter, and for that matter, a first half. The Tigers with a 10-7 lead over the Delta Devils. As you see Jay Kristoff come off the field, he and Jamal Small have been alternating drives, trying to find something that would click. We're going to check in here in a couple of seconds with Coach Darrell Asbury. Nick Strong trying to track down the coach, who's had a lot to deal with, including an injury to Darian Claiborne, his talented linebacker in that first half. The lone touchdown for the Tigers came from Latevin Wilcox on a scoop and score.
And it was provided by the defense. So that's something that's going to be, you know, whereas it a big play and it lifted the team up at the time, Darryl Asbury is going to be just a little disappointed because he was really hoping tonight to get more production out of his offense after last week. They just didn't really have a chance to get rolling.
Band ready to do their thing, but let's send things to Nick Strong with the coach.
I'm here with head coach Darryl Asbury, coach at the half with Causey out and Kristoff and Smalls in. Are you getting the quarterback consistency that you want?
I think we are. We're just flat offensively. You know, both guys are doing well. We'll come back the second half. We'll make a decision which one we're going to go with, and we're going to ride that one out for the rest of the game. You know, defensively, we're playing good football. Special teams is playing great. We just got to find a way to get our offense in gear.
Coach, with Claiborne out for the rest of the game, I know this is a big blow, but what would you tell your guys at the half?
Well, he gave up a leg for us. So what are we going to give up for him?
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back to you guys up top.
Sometimes you can sum things up with one word, flat offensively, but the defense has given the Tigers a 10-7 lead at the half. The band will perform next. Don't go anywhere when we come back.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together. Tigers lead 10-7 at the half. And speaking of halftime, let's enjoy the Ocean of Soul and watch them do their thing.
I'm Percy Cruzo. If you haven't been to French's Chicken, or if it's been a while since your last visit, no place does chicken like French's. Our chicken is seasonized with our blend of Creole herbs and spices. Our side dishes include the tastiest greens and red beans and rice you'll ever put in your mouth. Try our new King Roll rotisserie chicken at our Scott Street location. Come on by French's Chicken, where the taste lasts forever.
When we send an IBW electrician to your job site, I expect my electrical worker to be neat. I expect him to be professional. I expect him to be on time. I expect him to be productive. I expect him to do everything in his power or her power to ensure that employer is successful. Because what's going to get us more work is successful jobs.
The time is now to hire IBW electricians.
The halftime show here at BBVA Compass Stadium. Again, I'm Brett Dolan with Butch Alcindor. A 10-7 lead, Butch, for TSU at the half, but it's the defenses that have dominated really for both teams.
And the defenses, for TSU, the defense has done that all season long. They have had goal line stands. They've been really, really tough. Their motto is to bend and not break, and that's what we've seen tonight. When the offense really didn't live up to their part of it, the defense stepped up big when they needed them to.
The offense got that first scoring drive. They went down and kicked the field goal. You felt like they were starting to get into rhythm. They've gone with two quarterbacks. I think they've each had some positives, but it's really been tough to sustain anything.
But two interesting things from Coach Darryl Asbury right before the half. The first thing he said was, we're going to go in halftime, we're going to decide on a quarterback, and that guy's going to play the entire second half. The second thing he said was about the injury to Darian Claiborne. He said, hey, fellas, he gave up a leg for you. What are you going to give up for him? So he's going to try to motivate this team to come out and do something offensively to get this game rolling in the second half.
And for the short term, the defense played better once Claiborne left, almost as if the individuals knew that they were going to have to give their best effort to make up for his loss.
It is, and that's been the kind of game it's been to this point, and that's the kind of football they played most of the year. Claiborne has been their leader, but that defensive team has been absolutely awesome so far this year.
Let's take a look at our halftime highlights. Again, it's a 10-7 TSU lead at the break. Not a lot going on. We've seen some fumbled snaps, and we've seen quarterbacks just trying to make some plays tonight, Butch.
Jamal Small has that big body, and he doesn't mind running around the corner and getting in there, and so does Davion Porter. He was really key in that first drive. They got him the football, and they moved up and down the field, and you might see them go back to that strategy.
Pretty effective getting the football to Porter on some screen passes. This is one of the bigger plays of the night. He paid a price at the end with the hit, but the field goal knocked through early to make it 3-0 TSU, and again, that was on their opening drive. We also saw Kristoff get in the game for TSU.
That's something Coach Asbury said. They wanted to do turnovers, were huge in the first half, but he said he wanted to play two quarterbacks, wanted to play Kristoff and wanted to play Small and see who would have the better half, and I think that's why he's decided, no, I'm just going to go with one of these guys in the second half.
Deshaun Davis, after a fumbled punt, rumbled into the end zone. That was the big bright spot for the Delta Devils.
Deshaun Davis had 4 carries for 25 yards, but of course that big touchdown right there that put them out in front at that time. And then they played some defense, putting the pressure on Small, and it wasn't until the big turnover happened that the Tigers came alive defensively. You see Moore with a big stick right there in the backfield, and they just kept making play after play, and then this was huge. Peterson scrambling out of the pocket, loses the football. Latevin Wilcox comes in, scoops it up, and uses that speed to go down the sideline.
An unforced turnover results in a scoop and a score. You see the bobble helplessly on the turf. We saw a lot of balls kind of kicked around, but clearly this was the big play in that first half.
It was. And the defense came up with several big plays. They really put the Delta Devils in a hole and kept them there for most of the first half. We talked about Davion Porter. He had 70 yards rushing. Like I said before, I think we can expect to see him to touch the football a lot more in the second half.
How about the total yards for Mississippi Valley State? 31 yards in the first half. They have to be thrilled that they have 7 points on the scoreboard.
We were talking about how well the Tigers defense is playing. Well, that tells you right there exactly how well they are playing.
We're going to take a timeout, step aside. When we come back, we'll be ready for third quarter action again at the half. Texas Southern with the 10-7 lead over Mississippi Valley State.
I hate watching with Ramsey. All he does is yell. They can't hear you, Ramsey. But every time he's come over this year, we've won. And he always brings Bud Light. Little dog won't come out from under the couch. But we're winning. I love you, Ramsey.
Bud Light, for the fans who do whatever it takes.
The environment is my passion. Every day I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Hello, I'm Alan Helfman, Vice President of River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge. This is my friend and customer, Miss Georgia Provost. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Chrysler 300. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Ellen is the only car dealer I will ever buy a car from.
Come see us at Kirby and the Southwest Freeway.
We'll see if that halftime pep talk worked for TSU. They lead 10-7. And the Tigers, Butch, will also get the football first. Chance to gain some positive yards to see if they can get some points.
That's a very good thing to happen, to come out of the locker room, get the football first. You're at home. You're undefeated at home. It's an opportunity to take that football and march all the way down the field and get something on the board.
Wilcox, who had the scoop and score, may have a chance for another big play. Into Delta Devil territory, great field position, finally dropped at the 42-yard line.
And that's a nice spark to start the second half. You talk about you want to get out of that locker room, make a big play, get your team fired up. Tevin Wilcox, he's already had one big play already, takes the kickoff, cuts it back inside. He found the lane, and then for a second there, Brett, you're right, I thought he might take it all the way. But now it looks like the officials are having a discussion.
Virgil stuttered, made the tackle. Here's our referee, John Ullman, with the indication.
Play, personal foul, number 89 on the return team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Justin Wheat, just a silly penalty.
You know, and that's the second one like that after they've come up with. The last time it was after they made a great defensive play, they were called for roughing. So these are the things that the Tigers have to iron out, and I thought they had put on the back burner for a little bit, but we're seeing them creep back into this game again, and it's going to wipe out a really fine kickoff return by Wilcox.
We find out what quarterback starts the third quarter. It's Jay Kristoff, scrimmaging from the 42, and the Tigers in this I formation. And the first man through, Kendall Denson, just his first carry of the year, the fullback, for a couple of yards.
And he's in there, and that's different because he didn't touch the ball at all in the first half, so it's just a new look to give them something else to worry about.
Tigers had 51 yards passing in the first half. Kristoff had 24 of those. He was 3 of 8. He came in maybe the more accurate passer statistically, but in much fewer attempts than either Causey or Small. Little option read. Good pitch, but a lot of room for Porter just to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he's shy of midfield.
We're going to see Kristoff take off to his right with the option, and he almost missed an opportunity to pitch it. Right there, should have probably given him the ball just a little earlier so Porter could have continued with his momentum on the outside. He had to spin around and make a nice catch by Porter. Look at him adjusting to the pitch and then picking up some nice yardage for the Tigers.
Good hands, Charles Moore the tackle. It'll be a 3rd down and 4. The Tigers do not want to give up the football in this opening drive. Kristoff stands in the pocket. High throw. Catch made by Steve Carpenter at the Delta Devils 40, and that's a good pitch and catch.
That was a nice play, and it showed a lot of confidence on both ends as Kristoff just drilled that in there, and Carpenter was in a crowd, so he knew he was going to be hit, but he went up and got it. Nice catch.
Good tight ball. Kendall Bruton on the stop, but the Tigers move the sticks, and they're 40 yards away from what would be their first offensive touchdown tonight. Broken play, so Kristoff just has to run for a few yards, and he'll pay the price. 3 or 4 hits, even though he gets 3 or 4 yards. And Butch, I talked about Texas Southern with just 51 yards passing in the first half, and that's not much today's day and age. But how about the Delta Devils? They were -2. I've never seen a team and a half have negative passing yards.
They did not get much going on offense. That Texas Southern defense just ate them alive. The problem was that, they got the turnover. They got the turnover deep in TSU territory, and they turned that into 7 points. But if TSU can just punch this one in and turn it back over to the defense, you could see this thing kind of getting out of hand here in the second half.
2nd and 5, and Porter has nowhere to go. I think everybody in the house knew that Porter was going to carry that football, but he was dropped. Antonio Benson, the linebacker, was there for a loss of 2 or 3 on the play.
They tried that stretch play to the outside to run it off tackle, and the Delta Devils just blew it up. I mean, there was too many people in the backfield. You got to do something to get rid of that penetration. You cannot let defensive linemen live in your backfield like that. So that's what that play had no chance to get going.
Porter had just 43 yards rushing last week in that loss to Alabama State. He was very involved in that opening drive. Now the Tigers, with the play clock at 5, have to burn a timeout on a 3rd and 7, not wanting to risk a 5-yard walk-off, which would make this even more difficult.
Well, you mentioned the passing yardage before, Brett, and we're looking at TSU with 50 passing yards, and that's a difficult thing because I think that's one of the reasons why Coach Asbury may have decided to go with one quarterback for the second half to get some more consistency.
I think you're right. Hey, don't miss the TSU women's soccer team take on Howard University October 19th at 2 p.m. at Durley Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Log on to tsuball.com today. Brett Dolan, Butch Alcindor, Nick Strong here at BBVA Compass Stadium, downtown Houston. Good ball game, a defensive ball game. And Butch, it has been a crazy Saturday in college football. Alabama loses on the road. Oklahoma falls at TSU.
Texas A&M losing at Mississippi State.
Pounded by Mississippi State. So it's been separation Saturday in some of the big conferences, and really this is an important game for TSU and the SWAC to get back on track, get their 5th win.
No, it is not only to get their 5th win, but to have another win in the conference. I mean, they're off to a good start in the conference. They're 2-1. Every time you have an opportunity to get a conference win, you have to nail it down.
Trips to the right. Kristoff back, looking and throwing in that direction. Good ball. Caught again by Carpenter, and he is dragging Delta Devils inside the 20. That's the 2nd 3rd down pitch and catch to Carpenter that's been on the money. Boycott on the stop.
They're working out a nice little connection between the two of them, but what I like about that play, Kristoff actually, look at this. He puts that ball right on the money. It's a perfect spiral. He had his man open out there, and it looks like they're kind of getting into sync together.
He's thrown a couple of pretty balls.
He has.
Little pistol formation here. Porter trying to get towards the boundary, short side of the field, popped out of bounds hard. Very little running room there. It was Charles Moore again with the shoulder to knock him out at about the 16.
Kristoff has been very impressive in this drive. You're going to see Porter here showing off his speed. 96 thought he had him for a tackle there, and then before you know it, Porter turns the corner and he is gone. But Kristoff has really thrown the football well, and you mentioned the 3rd down conversions. That is key to keeping those sticks moving forward.
3rd and those 7-8 yard plays, they were able to pick up big yardage. Now facing a 2nd and 7. Get it to Porter in space. Porter trying to get towards the boundary. He had a couple of extra yards, but he will be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage on that short screen play.
Davion saw there were a lot of white jerseys out there just waiting on him, and he did the best thing he could, and then he decided, just let me get out of bounds, and we will fight this play again on 3rd down.
Actually lost a yard on the play, so Antonio Benson's tackle makes this a 3rd and 9. Tigers, as they've done throughout most of this game, have lined up 3 receivers, all 3, to one side. That's the wide side. Kristoff feeling the pressure, throwing to the end zone, just out of the reach of Malik Cross.
You got to feel like on that play he had to throw that ball a lot sooner than he wanted to. If he could have held on for another second, he did have a guy open. You could see Cross going to the back of the end zone. They ran a receiver underneath to take off the underneath coverage, and he just had to throw it a little quicker than he wanted and got a little too much on it.
Davon Jones delivered quite the blow. The pass is incomplete. The offense comes off. And now Medina on to attempt a field goal try of what would be 34 yards. He's 8 of 10 this year. No win tonight inside the soccer stadium. A high kick towards the top of the uprights, and it's through. And the Tigers, just as they did in the first half, get a field goal on their first drive. So Medina makes it a 13-7 TSU lead.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
TSU Tigers added their lead. It's now a 13-7 advantage over the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils. So Medina to kick off and to give the ball back to the Delta Devils. Such a defensive-oriented game, but good for TSU, Butch, to get points on that first drive, at least to tack on 3 more.
You want to get something on your first drive of the second half. Obviously, they would have loved to have gotten a touchdown, but they didn't come away empty, and that was the most important thing.
A lot of pooch kicks tonight. Another one that was fumbled briefly. Picked up by Johnson. And he's dropped at about the 22. I'll say they've been effective. There just hasn't been a lot of runs or yards to run after the kick.
I think it's been very effective for the Tigers because they're having trouble handling the football on that play. And here we go with the scoring drive, and you see Davion Porter. He went to work again. He had 10 plays, 40 yards. It was a time of 4 minutes and 39 seconds. So the Tigers did what they had to do in the second half to get the second half underway.
It's becoming a physical game.
It is, and that's what happens when you have a defensive struggle and nobody's scoring.
Quantavius Peterson, again the quarterback for these Delta Devils. Remember, as we discussed in the first half, they have won the last 3 meetings with TSU, so the Tigers hoping to change that. And there's a marker down after a very short gain, if at all, on the first play from scrimmage. Do you want to take it or not? I think that's the question.
Personal foul chop block, number 67 on the offense. Half a distance, repeat first down.
Alvin Solomon, the backup right guard. That's a big man.
You know, we heard
6'2", 305.
305. And here it is, the play again as he goes up the middle, and Tigers had that well defensed anyway, and you throw in the penalty. But we have not talked about Julian Stafford a lot. He has not done anything to hurt TSU tonight, and he was the big guy coming into this one.
It's a good point, Borch. Worth revisiting because he's the #1 receiver in the SWAC. He's had 3 games in excess of 100 yards this year. Remember, though, the Delta Devils did lose their #1 tailback, Jarrell Moore, in that first drive, so it's been kind of a running back by committee since. And, in fact, there's Jeremy Dobson. I don't believe we've seen him tonight, and he's carrying the football here in the third quarter.
The other side of that, too, is that he hasn't really had a lot of time to throw. And so when you got a receiver that attracts so much attention and you don't really have a lot of time to throw, it's really tough to get him the football.
Another second and forever, 2nd and 19. It's Dobson again. Boy, missed the first man, but then Trey Walker knocked him down right around the 20 after a short pickup.
And so far on this drive, it's been just what the doctor ordered for the Tigers, because you want to get them in, get them out, get the football back, and put some more points on the boards and try to get this game over with early.
Inside 9 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Delta Devils touching the football for the first time in the third, and they're in danger of punting. 3rd and 14. Remember, Peterson began tonight completing 37% of his passes. He's looked to run oftentimes more than throw the football. Really has to go to the air here, at least you would think. Flush from the pocket, trying to run for the first down, and he will fight forward and be maybe a yard short. Jarius Moore had a hold of him, but he was able to fight forward. Brandon Thomas involved in the stop. And Peterson now on his back.
Well, you can take a look at it, and you can see Peterson breaking out of the pocket, and that was just a poor angle right there. I mean, he should have been stopped maybe 6 or 7 yards further down the field, but there's Brandon Thomas right there with a big hit, and he's not going anywhere after that. And you mentioned he's still down. He was shaken up on that play.
It's always your fear with your quarterback trying to extend a play, reach for a marker, and then take that second or third hit.
Well, he got out of that pocket extremely quick on the play, and he made up his mind he was going to try to run for it, and as you said, he did not go down. But there's a good sign. He's up and moving around. He's trying to shake it off.
Also looks like maybe Stafford is down, and there is Stafford. We just discussed this top wide receiver. See if he got rolled up on. He got thrown down at the bottom of your screen. And there's your weapon for the Delta Devils. Slow to get up.
And he's jogging up, too, off the field. So that's good news also. But you lose 2 Delta Devils on
your
one
quarterback
play.
and your top receiver?
And you didn't make the first down. You're still a yard shy of the first down.
How about this? 4th and 1. The punter is not in the game. So you bring on the backup quarterback, Patrick Ivy. The Delta Devils will go under center with a tight I formation. Deshaun Davis is the big tailback. Oh, my goodness. I don't believe the Delta Devils were going to snap. The play clock was at 5, and TSU may have jumped.
It's going to depend on who they call it on, because there was some movement on the offensive line. So now, did that come before the defensive guy penetrated? We're going to have to wait and see how they called it. But there was a little movement on offense.
False start. Offside, 42 on the defense. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Why are the guilty party?
I think you're right. I don't think they were going to snap it. I think they were going to take it all the way down and then just punt the ball away.
And Wire's lined up near the center, and that's a mistake that is tough for a coach to deal with because he's got the best look at the football. Delta Devils stay on the field. Patrick Ivy remains in as the quarterback after Peterson was taken off in the previous play. Good news for the Delta Devils is that Stafford's back in the game. The bad news is another marker on the field.
Start. Number 70 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Big first down.
This game is kind of deteriorating into a lot of penalties, but you can clearly see number 70 on offense jumping. That's Golden Yakuna.
Look at the weight on that guy. Look at the size on Golden Acuna.
He's just a growing boy. Just a
6'4", 380 pounds. That's a big man. Big running back, Deshaun Davis. It's going to take the second and third hit to try and bring him down. The Tigers pursue. And Trey Walker is escorted out of the proceedings before he picked up maybe a 15-yard penalty.
As you can see, the big guy, Deshaun Davis, hits inside. He just bounces off of people. He's got a big body. Tigers actually played that pretty well. Good leverage up front. He's just a big fella, and like you can see Trey Walker there kind of mixing it up in the secondary. Tigers have to be really careful right now about keeping their composure. They have the lead in this ball game.
Sideline infraction or warning on TSU. Patrick Ivy changing the play at the line of scrimmage. And he slips. He'll get a couple of yards back, but he's... we got a fight here out of bounds. Stafford was going at it with Trey Walker, who was just taken out of a scrum a couple of plays ago.
Trey Walker was involved in something the play before, and it looks like it continued. We'll see how the officials call it. But it was Stafford again, and I know he's frustrated tonight because he can't get his hands on the football.
I don't know if he's brave or a little bit crazy to pick a fight when there's 100 players on this sideline and he's the only guy in a green helmet.
It was right in front of the TSU bench.
After the play, personal foul, number 85 on the offense, 15-yard penalty, third down.
That's just a lot of frustration on his part. You know, he's their go-to guy, and they cannot go to him tonight. He cannot get his hands on the football.
I'm wondering if that may have dated back to that play when he was on the field. It looked like he kind of got thrown down at the end of the play, and maybe once he was back on the field, he was hoping to return the favor of sorts. But it's a huge mistake forcing that man, Patrick Ivy, and the Delta Devils back with a third and about 30.
Oh, it's a huge, huge mistake because you had just gotten a big break on that 4th and 1. You got a gift first down, and then you turn around and you do something like that. That's just pretty stupid, really. You know, you have to keep your composure while you're out there, and that was a huge play for TSU.
Each team has had the football just one time here in the second half. This is still the first drive for Mississippi Valley State. They'll look for the deep ball, and this pass isn't even close to Joshua Rice as it sailed out of bounds.
And you know the best thing about that play, Brett? There was not a flag on the field. So,
amen.
We've seen a lot of penalties tonight.
Drew Het back to return this punt in hopes of doing so from Sharshin Galen. From about his 12. Kind of a sideways kick. We'll see if this takes a Mississippi Valley State bounce. Boy, it will. Not necessarily long kicks, but they get effective rolls down to the 27. We'll step aside. 6 minutes to play in our third quarter. TSU with the football back, leading by 6.
When we send an IBW electrician to your job site, I expect my electrical worker to be neat. I expect him to be professional. I expect him to be on time. I expect him to be productive. I expect him to do everything in his power or her power to ensure that employer is successful. Because what's going to get us more work is successful jobs.
The time is now to hire IBW electricians.
People who make the right moves. A Rocket Moving.
Percy Crusoe. If you haven't been to French's Chicken, or if it's been a while since your last visit, no place does chicken like Frenchie's. Our chicken is seasonized with our blend of Creole herbs and spices. Our side dishes include the tastiest greens and red beans and rice you'll ever put in your mouth. Try our new King Roll rotisserie chicken at our Scott Street location. Come on by Frenchie's Chicken, where the taste lasts forever.
We're back inside BBVA Compass Stadium. 13-7 Tigers lead. And Nick Strong, it looks like things are getting chippy down on the field.
Guys, a lot of trash talking down here on the sidelines. A physical matchup. Only 13-7, still a good game, and that's part of the battle. A lot of talking. Even the Tiger fans, as you saw, was near to the Tiger sideline. They were getting number 85. That's Julian Stafford. Him and Trey Walker are in a heated battle right now. And also, I'd like to point out, Eric Medina, the kicker for the Tigers, is on a up and up. As you remember, early on in the game, Coach Asbury decided not to kick it on the 4th down. But last time with that drive, when the Tigers put up 3, Eric Medina was one of the happiest guys on the team. He knows his role on his team, and it could possibly win the game before we leave. Back up to you guys.
Good stuff, Nick. Kristoff unable to find anything downfield, and he will take a blow at about the 27.
It's a good job by Jay, though, because at this point in the ball game, you don't want to force the football. He went back to pass. He had a little time. He surveyed the field, didn't like what he saw, decided to pull it down, and we have another injury down there on the field.
Khalil Young made the stop, but let's see the Delta Devil, who is down for the time being, and it looks like it's Latroy Jones, one of the linebackers.
Yeah, he just got caught up in the middle of that pile. Kristoff keeping, comes up the middle. Watch Jones, number 31, comes in, takes a shot, and then the pile just kind of went backwards on Mr. Jones.
We've had more 3rds and 10 plus than we've had 3rd and 4s or 3rd and 5s tonight. Now, 2 big completions on that previous drive on 3rd downs from Kristoff, both times finding Steve Carpenter. He's the receiver on the outside of the right. The bobble will cost Fred Plummer, and he's thrown back for a loss.
Well, and Kristoff was right on the money with this, got it out to him, took his eyes off the football. He was trying to make a move to get upfield. You can see his head swing around as he's looking around, and by that time he bobbled the ball. By the time he got it back, he had no place to go.
Davon Jones with the hit that'll force a punt from Corey Carter, and he could use one of those 47-yard boots that he has done many a time this year, and that's a good kick. That'll be caught just at the 30 by Boykin. So with an even 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, the Delta Devils have the football back, and which we talked in the first half, especially the 2nd quarter, about the defenses. That storyline has not changed here in our 3rd.
And the Tigers are going to have to keep – the same thing happened last week. They could not get anything going offensively. They stalled, and they had to rely on the defense to keep them in the game. And last week it was holding Alabama State to field goals instead of touchdowns. This week it's holding Mississippi Valley State out of the end zone and keeping them from scoring altogether.
And now A-Rocket Movers presents Do You Know TSU? Tonight's question is, what was the first official name for Texas Southern during the years of 1925 to 1927? We'll give you some time to think about it. Check back later in the game. Going in the Wayback Machine there. Speaking of way back, Patrick Ivey was going backwards, but he steps out of a near sack, and then he completes a pass at midfield. That may have been the play of the night, into the hands of Keenan Daniels.
You know, Adrian Gamble had his hands on him. At one point, it looked like he almost had 2 hands on him, but as you're going to see, just couldn't yank him down. Patrick Ivey right there. Gamble had him. He slipped away. Ivey's a big guy, kept his head up, looking downfield, and he found his man for a big first down.
Just his 3rd catch of the season. Here's a punishing run from Dobson as he fights forward for a couple of yards into a swarm of maroon jerseys.
You know, it's brutal as a defensive lineman when you work that hard to get after the quarterback and you think you got him and you think you're going to make a big play, and then he turns around and turns it into a first down.
Arthel Wire at the bottom of that pile, the junior from Baton Rouge, made the tackle, but it was a gain of 5 for the Delta Devils, so they're on the march, down by 6. There's Stafford, little screen pass, trying to get him involved. Stafford took a punishing blow by Wilcox, who scored the touchdown earlier. LaKendrick Conley, also involved.
They got the ball to Stafford that time, and as you can see, Gamble's chasing. A lot of people are chasing out there. Thomas doing a good job of keeping the play inside, because that's what you want to do. You want to have the leverage. You want to force it back inside to where you have your friends coming up to help out. And, boy, the big hit on Stafford right there by the Tigers defense.
3rd and maybe 1, and the Delta Devils will still operate from this shotgun. Patrick Ivey will keep. Patrick Ivey has the first down and more. And he will step out shy of the 10-yard line. He was being chased by Dondre Dobbins, but a huge pickup, and the Delta Devils in business.
That was a great call on that play because it was 3rd and short, so the Tigers were looking for the big guy, Davis, inside. Patrick Ivey pulls it out, turns the corner. No one's there, so Ivey keeps it down the sideline, and it's a big play for a first down on 3rd down.
We have had one offensive touchdown in the game. It came courtesy of Deshaun Davis. He lines up to the left of Patrick Ivey as the Delta Devils are on the march, and a good low tackle was made by TSU. In fact, that was Jarius Moore who came flying in. We have Moore fisticuffs at about the 15.
This time it looks like it's Trey Walker that's involved for the Tigers, and somebody's going to have to, get a hold of this game. Let's see how the officials call this one, because Nick mentioned all the trash talking going on down there, but this is not going to do either team any good.
And Trey Ford was the one involved for Mississippi Valley State. Really, it's just unnecessary, Butch. I mean, here's a case where the TSU defense needs to make a stop. The Delta Devils are trying to take the lead, and this is just stupid.
Well, officials are going to have to take over this game and make a statement and just make it clear, that they're not going to allow this to happen. Now they're trying to figure it out. Let's see what they're going to call.
There's 2 markers down. I mean, there's a possibility of offsetting penalties, but that would serve no real purpose.
During the play, personal foul, number 16 on the offense, personal foul, number 5 on the defense. Those fouls will all set. We'll replay first down.
Yeah, the trays.
After the play,
Ford Walker.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the bench, Texas Southern. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
So I'm sure Coach Darrell Asbury had a few nice words for the officials right there, because the bench is going to be penalized also on this. So this is really, really putting the Tigers defense with their backs to the wall here.
And the TSU bench has to be concerned now. They've had 1 sideline warning. The next would be a penalty. They've also been flagged for a 15-yard penalty, and this walk-off will give the Delta Devils 1st and goal.
It's going to be 1st and goal at the 6, and we saw before the Delta Devils, it doesn't appear tonight they're going to get a touchdown unless they get an awful lot of help, because that's what happened in the first half, and that's what's happening again right now.
It's Deshaun Davis again. The TSU defense rises up for a stop. More flags, and let's check in with Nick as the officials throw more laundry on the field.
And there's even more commotion going down on the sidelines. In that last penalty, both players' fouls were offset, but it was Coach Asbury who said something to the referee after the flags were thrown. He was upset that the referees did not get the play under control. He fought at the referees that the fight was continuing on and on and on. The refs did not get it under control. As you see, 2 more flags were just thrown, and I'll go check on those in a minute as well. Guys, back up to you.
Thanks, Nick. I like your choice of words, commotion. We've had a lot of commotion here in the 3rd quarter. Somebody's got to clean things up. If this is the officials, this is the coaches.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 86 on the offense for throwing a punch. By rule, number 86 is ejected from the ball game. 2nd down.
That's the tight end, Natron Brooks, who is a 2nd-team all-preseason SWAC player. That's an important part of their blocking. He's gone.
And that's what you have to do. That's what I was talking about before. The officials have to send the message that we're not going to allow this. Otherwise, why have them out there? Because it's going to be a free-for-all constantly. but he got thrown out for throwing a punch. That you cannot do that in a game. And let's see if we can pick it up here. A little shove and go. There it is right there. He threw a punch on number 18, Connolly, LaKendrick Connolly, inside right there, and he threw it right in front of the official.
And he'll also miss the first 2 quarters of next week's game, so that is the penalty that continues to bite Mississippi Valley State. So the Delta Devils so close to a touchdown drive that would give them the lead, and they're going backwards.
Well, they're not playing with much composure either, because they're out there, you know, where there's frustration or whatever's going on, they're throwing punches, they're getting out there trying to mix it up, and now they're all the way back to their 21-yard line.
A pass towards the end zone, up for grabs to the pylon, touchdown. Who else? Julian Stafford, his 6th score of the year, and the Delta Devils have tied things up.
Well, we don't see him make a big play the entire game, but you know he's out there. He's always lurking. And this time, they finally had some time to pass. Patrick Ivey surveyed the whole field. He was waiting for him to clear, and he threw a beautiful pass, dropped it right in there. On the play, you could see Brandon Thomas trying to knock the ball out at the last minute, but that's why this guy is their main go-to guy. He comes up with the big plays when they need him.
Well, good presence to switch that ball to his right hand, extend over the goal line near the pylon. And we're a Galen point after touchdown away from the Delta Devils, taking a 1-point lead. TSU going for the block, so close, but it's punched right through. And it's now 14-13 Mississippi Valley State with $1:26 to play in our 3rd quarter. We're going to check back in with our A Rocket Movers. Do you know TSU? The question again was, what was the first official name for Texas Southern during the years of 1925 to 1927? Any guesses, Butch?
No guesses.
Leave you hanging.
I don't want to embarrass myself there. Wiley College.
Extension.
There we go. So now we know. Wiley College.
What we do know is that the Tigers are down a point, and Butch, they've yet to score an offensive touchdown tonight. We thought their defense might be able to make that lead hold up, but they've got to find something offensively.
You know, I wonder, Brett, just how much all of this extracurricular stuff is really kind of like getting into the Tigers' heads. It's like Mississippi Valley doesn't mind at all. Like I said, they come in here with a 4-game losing streak. They're trying to cause some disruption. They're trying to do something differently. Somehow the Tigers have to get their focus back on this game, get their focus back on executing their plays and moving the ball up and down the field.
Which I think that's a good point. It's exhausting to get caught up in the game outside the game.
It is.
Wilcox can't field the squibber, and he's knocked back into the end zone. Forward progress will be given at the 1. Had he let that ball roll, even after he touched it, it could have been a touchback, but the inclination is to pick it up and go, and boy, the Tigers with terrible field position.
You know, when it rains, it pours, and I tell you what, right here, he kind of like reached down with one hand. He didn't get his body in front of that ball like a shortstop would do to field a ground ball. Right there, kind of just waved at it. He wasn't sure whether or not he touched it, but he still had to get back. Then he kicks it, and now we have a lot of problems there. Letevin just could not really. He got a lot of indecision on that play. He wasn't sure what to do.
Charlie Crenshaw with the tackle on special teams, and now Porter's lined up about 7 yards deep in the end zone. Kristoff will go under center. The Tigers trying to compete for some yardage, and Porter just does get out by a couple of yards before he's hit and dropped.
Well, a 99-yard drive wouldn't be too bad right here. You want to take care of that football when you're deep in your own territory like that. And TSU, like you talk about being in the shadow of your goalpost.
Look at the men in the box, though, for the Delta Devils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players within a yard of the line of scrimmage, and that's a safety. Porter couldn't make it out of the end zone. There's just not time to stretch things out when you're at the goal line.
There's not, and you're going to see a lot of penetration coming there. And what happened was Porter saw the first guy to show, and you're right, he tried to shift it out to the outside a little bit, but he went laterally, and you can't do that. You have to get it upfield when you're down near your own goal line. You have to stick your head in there and just advance the football. He went laterally, and boy, they paid for it with the safety.
Sean Fugate, the senior from Phoenix, made the big play that now gives the Delta Devils a 3-point lead inside a minute to go in our third quarter.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the TSU defense, but here you can see Mississippi Valley, they were given a huge break when the Tigers had to start from their own 1-yard line, and boy, they got it together and took advantage of it. They really came strong with the defensive effort there. And the safety, what a huge safety at this point in the ball game. And the thing about getting it, not only is bad enough to get a safety, but then you have to kick the ball off.
Boy, the Tigers defense has scored a touchdown. The Delta Devils defense has scored a safety. So the defense is not only the theme, they're doing the bulk of the scoring.
Defenses are dominating this game.
See if Johnson gets a chance to return a booming punt.
That's a great punt.
Now Johnson chasing, lucky to play the carom inside the 10, fighting for some positive yards. Not good field position, even after the free kick from the 20.
What a great punt that was.
Michael Holmes made the tackle. Good job to cover that play after the long punt. And the Delta Devils will get it back with 46 seconds to play in the quarter. Not maybe the field position they had hoped for.
Corey Carter is an all-SWAC player, and he showed you why right there. If they ever needed a big booming punt, that was the time to get it. So now you have to swing it back on the other side. Now it's time for the TSU defense to dig in right here and said, hey, we need to get out here and we need to make a play. We need to cut out the penalties. We need to make a play and get the ball back to our offense.
Delta Devils will try and establish the run with Deshaun Davis. Again, Jarrell Moore out of the game in the first drive. So they have been using tailbacks 2, 3, and 4 in the game.
Both teams have had to make big adjustments tonight because of injuries. We talked in the first half about Darian Claiborne going out. He has a knee injury, so the Tigers are having to play defense without their number one tackler, their leading tackler, and so far they have responded. But as you mentioned, also the Delta Devils are having to adjust on offense. And we're seeing more and more Patrick Ivey in the second half also.
And there is Ivey, the Illinois native. Final seconds ticking away to end our third quarter. Defenses have reigned, but it's the Delta Devils trailing at the half, up by 3 as we go to the fourth from downtown Houston.
Hello, I'm Alan Helfman, Vice President of River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge. This is my friend and customer, Miss Georgia Provost. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Chrysler 300. River Oaks Chrysler Jeep and Dodge has the all-new, totally redesigned Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Ellen is the only car dealer I will ever buy a car from.
Come see us at Kirby and the Southwest Freeway.
Watching with Ramsey. All he does is yell. They can't hear you, Ramsey. But every time he's come over this year, we've won. And he always brings Bud Light. Little dog won't come out from under the couch. But we're winning. I love you, Ramsey.
Bud Light, for the fans who do whatever it takes.
Delta Devils ready to snap here early in the fourth quarter, leading 16-13. Patrick Ivey will give to Dobson. And Dobson up near the marker. He'll stay on his feet and pick up the first down. Dobson still going. He gained about 12 yards on that play. And let's check in quickly with Dick Strong.
What a great ball game going on down here, guys, but just not in favor of the TSU Tigers. On that last possession, Coach Asbury, it was head coach Daryl Asbury, rounding up the Tigers, telling the guys, don't fall apart. We've been down this road before. You've got to be determined. You got to stay determined. They've been through it before, and they're going to try to battle back here in the fourth quarter. I've also got to point out the fact that Coach Comegy, head coach of the Mississippi Valley Delta Devils, also won the first game here in BBVA Compass Stadium when he was with Jackson State. There was a lot of words between the coaches, and they had a couple of things to say as well. That might be another factor in these kids out here having a little controversy on the field as well. Back up to you guys.
Well, good stuff, Nick. Coach Comegy took over in January, had previously been at Jackson State. In fact, he took that team to the SWAC championship game each of the last 2 seasons, now trying to rebuild a team. Last year they went 2-9, 2-7 in conference play. This would be a huge win for them on the road if they're able to hold on. 2nd and 9, Ivy will keep, and here's the Tigers defense trying to rise up.
Well, and this is, I know we're early in the fourth quarter, but this is a key drive because the Tigers need to get the ball back, because now that Mississippi Valley has the lead, you know, they can, it's going to change some of the plays they're working on. They're going to work on the clock some too when they can. They're coming up with a big third down here, though. We'll see if this could be the time TSU could step up and make that big stop.
Officials stop the clock. 13-11 to play here in our fourth. Reset the game clock, but this will be again a 3rd down and 7 for Patrick Ivy and the Delta Devils. Julian Stafford in the slot to the left, defended by Brandon Thomas. Ivy better hold on to that football. He'll be dropped shy of the marker. Brandon Thomas, one of those, along with Justin Wheat, who are trying to track down the quarterback and drop him. It'll bring up 4th down. Mississippi Valley State before that play had 74 yards total offense, and yet they lead 16-13.
And that's how it is. They're making their hay tonight on breaks. They have 2 really good breaks. The ball down near the goal line, and then we know about the fumble early in the first half that led to the first touchdown.
Fair catch for Drewhett. He'll have to drop to his knees at about the 24. Timeout on the field. 12:15 to play in our fourth quarter. Tigers have the football back, trailing by 3 when you come back to BBVA Compass Stadium.
Define the fabric of a team. It's not selfish. It's not boastful. It's about many, sewn together to reach one common goal. But in order to win, you must learn to work together.
Coach Asbury's Tigers with the football. 12:15 to play in our fourth quarter. TSU trailing by 3. Tigers alternated quarterbacks in the first half. Jay Kristoff has been in there throughout here in the second. Butch, what have you seen tonight from Kristoff?
He's looked pretty good, actually. I mean, he's thrown the ball really well. It's just that they've had these mistakes. It's been a penalty here, a penalty there, the same thing that affected this offense last week when they were on the road.
Trying to reestablish Davion Porter. He'll fight forward for a couple of yards, but dropped. And
I thought he's handled the offense pretty good so far. He's shown a lot of good judgment in the pocket. He's pulled the ball down a couple of times. He did not force the pass in there, and he's had a couple of good. In fact, he probably would have had a TD pass if not for the blitz on the first drive of the second half.
Fugate on that stop. After 3 quarters, these teams combined for less than 200 total yards in this game. Waiting for one team really to step forward. Kristoff, nice move. Pretty good shimmy. He'll have the first down. Still on his feet into Mississippi Valley State territory.
That was too sweet.
Keith Gibson finally there to drop him, but he's running like a fullback.
Well, that was a great move. He had a quick feet, made a quick step. What a move right here, coming up, boom, and he is gone. Guy didn't even touch anything. He tackled Kristoff with a big gain, turning on the speed and picking up a big first down.
Tigers needed a break from a field position standpoint. They're about to give a few of those yards back, although Kristoff will fight forward. He'll gain a yard. Fugate again on the stop, made back-to-back tackles. But right here, Kristoff just trying to make something out of what could have been a loss.
He did, and he did. He's a pretty slippery runner once he gets out of the pocket there. That time he was a design keeper, and he got 2 yards on the play.
Inside 11 minutes to go in the game. And number 11, Kristoff, trying to engineer a scoring drive. Remember, the lone touchdown for the Tigers tonight came courtesy of their defense. Kristoff tried to find Porter, and he was running with the football before he caught it.
You know, we saw Plummer do that earlier in the ball game, and right now Porter knew he was going to have to get something going quickly, and again, he turned. Even if you get 4 or 5 yards on that play, basically what you're doing, you're setting yourself up for third down. 3rd and 4 is a lot better than 3rd and 9, and that's what they're looking at here. So even if he caught that ball and only got 3 or 4 yards, it still gives them a better chance to convert on 3rd down.
3rd and 9. The Tigers previously on 3rd down conversions, 1 of 11. That will not get it done. Kristoff here. Did Fred Plummer have a foot in bounds? Apparently he did. And that's good for a first down. I was worried that left foot was going to come down out of bounds before the right foot was in.
You know what? It looked like he did step out of bounds, but there is no video replay in the SWAC, so it's a first down.
Oh, he's not in bounds.
It's a first down. Good play. Kristoff, again, a little late with that football, and that's why maybe he didn't have time to get both feet in, but either way, it goes down as a completion because there is no replay, so the Tigers are moving on.
They catch a break. Now Davion Porter with a couple of yards before Jones drops him down. It ended up being a gain of 6, so a good first down play by Porter, and the Tigers are on the march.
Well, and it was a good 3rd down conversion by Kristoff. You know, he made the right decision, went to the open guy, got it to him a little late, but it was the right decision.
See if they run again now that it's 2nd and somewhat short. Kristoff will keep. Beautiful option play. Kristoff, there's a marker down. Kristoff is down inside the 5. This one's probably coming back.
You know, that's a shame. It really, what a great play. You talk about making the right decisions.
See if this is a holding.
Holding. Number 81 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay 2nd down.
It's the tight end, Billy Rosenberg.
And as we take a look at it again, you're going to see Billy up on the outside. Look at Kristoff. Great move, making him think he was going to go with the pitch. He threw it right down at Billy's feet there. I really couldn't tell whether or not he was holding.
He just didn't disengage. He had Jones, but he probably could have let him go as the play was by him. He stayed with his arm on the jersey, and that's probably going to get called more often than not.
How many times have we seen that tonight, though, for the Tigers? They get a little momentum going, and then there's a penalty.
Good news is it came from the spot, not from the line of scrimmage, so basically it's like no gain, 2nd and 10. Kritstoff will try and run again. Kritstoff will pick up a couple of yards. He's inside the 30, but he'll be about 3 shy of another first down.
You know, I like what he's doing right now because he is fighting with his, he's given everything he's got right here. He's running the ball like a tailback, like you said earlier. He's not looking for a hole to go down in. He's trying to pick up the extra yardage. He just has to keep protecting that football, though, because that's the most important thing. They got something going now and another key 3rd down drive. Third down.
Safety tackles in this drive for the Delta Devils. Charles Moore in the stop, but now 3rd down and a 3-yard-to-go situation. Porter running towards the boundary. It looked like he had the first down, decided to cut it inside with a spin, and he rolls inside the 20 to about the 22. First down, TSU.
First down for the Tigers, but that's a key play. That's something Porter's got to be aware of. If it's 3rd down and you've got that corner made and you can get the first down, then you got to get it. So I'm hoping, obviously, here he didn't think he could turn the corner. Made a great spin move back inside right there, and he picked up the first down. Been a long drive. This has been a nice, sustained drive.
So long, in fact, that Mississippi Valley State will burn a timeout with 8:31 to go. And, Butch, this may be a little bit of strategy for the defense, but right now it's also to give these guys a blow and a breather after this long drive.
Oh, it is, because they've converted twice now on 3rd down, and so they've been on the field for a while, and so they want to get the big lineman up front to let them have a blow. And it's a chance to regroup, too, and say, hey, look, guys, this is what they're doing to you right now. Let's make some adjustments here on the field and try to shut down what the Tigers are doing.
So a timeout with 8:31 to play in the 4th. We encourage you to not miss out of the homecoming parade and the game. TSU Tigers take on Arkansas Pine Bluff, the Golden Lions, on October 25th. It's a 2 o'clock kick right here at BBVA Compass Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. You can log on to tsuball.com today.
Let's just hope we have a day like today for a homecoming, because that would be really sweet. A 2 o'clock game in this type of weather would be really, really neat.
Tigers hoping to get back on the winning track, earn their 5th win of the year, their 3rd in conference, but they trail here in the 4th quarter. Maybe their longest drive of the game, but now they need to capitalize. 1st and 10 after the timeout. Kritstoff again, dangerous pitch. Porter to the corner, and he decided to cut it back, and he was dropped again. It was Hooker, the linebacker, who made the stop. The Tigers were reacting as if maybe they thought it was a face mask of some sort.
Porter was coming out there and he was grabbing the face mask. Let's take a look again and see exactly if someone did grab him. Kritstoff with a very dangerous pass. You can say that again. He was coming to the alley. He actually got the jersey. He's got the inside of the jersey there, and he spun him around. So right there, he's got the jersey, and he yanked him down. A big play.
That's some strength for the big man.
But if you're wondering why Porter couldn't turn the corner, that's why.
He was going nowhere. He gained 3 in the play. Kritstoff has been dangerous with his feet. Now, hoping to make a play with his arm, and he's tackled from behind and dropped. Latrey Jones, the linebacker from Greenwood, Mississippi, made a play.
Well, I think Kritstoff did a really good job not throwing that football, because on the play, Malik Cross thought he was open. He was in the end zone, and it looked like he was open, but for Kritstoff to get him the ball, he would have had to thrown back across the field, and there were a lot of white jerseys between him and Cross. So a very smart play by not throwing the football on that play.
And obviously still in field goal range where a long one would tie the game, so you can't afford a mistake, something that would give the Delta Devils the football back. 3rd and 10. They need to reach about the 13-yard line, and there was movement on the Tigers. They could in goal from the 7. Nearing the 6-minute mark in our 4th quarter, a fumbled snap. And Kritstoff is picked up like a Thanksgiving wishbone. A Delta Devil had each leg, and they were going to rip him in 2.
Something else to keep an eye on here. I mean, this has been a fantastic drive, but it's used up an awful lot of time. You know, if they don't get the touchdown here, it's going to be down. We could be under 4 minutes by the time they, so this is a really, really crucial drive. I know we've said that before, but this is a crucial drive for the Tigers. They have it down here close. They have to stick it in for this touchdown.
That's why that fumbled snap was so costly. So it's 2nd and goal. Kritstoff, the keeper. Kritstoff into the end zone. Touchdown. TSU.
And he has made great decisions on that option play the entire second half, and he did it again right there. played it perfectly down the line, decided to keep inside, and he has a nose for that end zone. There he goes, right there on the keeper, and he's in for the touchdown. Right there, number 31, which he misplayed the play because you have a guy on the quarterback, you have a guy on the halfback. If your guy is the quarterback, you take him. No matter what, number 31 tried to slow play it, tried to play the halfback and the quarterback, and he got nobody.
Great point. Kristoff has run the option perfectly tonight. The extra point from Medina is good. That's an important one because it makes this a 4-point lead instead of a 3-point cushion. 5 and change left from BBVA Compass Stadium. We'll step aside, come back. The Delta Devils will have the football, but the Tigers now have the lead.
I'm Percy Crusoe. If you haven't been to French's Chicken, or if it's been a while since your last visit, no place does chicken like Frenchie's. Our chicken is seasonized with our blend of Creole herbs and spices. Our side dishes include the tastiest greens and red beans and rice you'll ever put in your mouth. Try our new King Roll rotisserie chicken at our Scott Street location. Come on by French's Chicken, where the taste lasts forever.
The environment is my passion. Every day I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
When we send an IBEW electrician to your job site, I expect my electrical worker to be neat. I expect him to be professional. I expect him to be on time. I expect him to be productive. I expect him to do everything in his power or her power to ensure.
And there's Crenshaw hoping for that opportunity to make a play for the Delta Devils on this Medina kick, but Butch, we've seen all night some pooch or angled kicks from the Tigers.
And so far up to this point, they've done a really good job of containing the Delta Devils on the kickoff. And here we have a fumble. Man, that might have put it on ice.
Banks had to cover the miss of Crenshaw as he couldn't get there, so the Delta Devils will have the football back. Let's take a look at this scoring drive recap and again talk about the number of plays involved for the Tigers to get that touchdown. 15 plays.
Well, and that's the kind of drive we were talking about. When you want to give your defense a blow, you want to come down here, and Kristoff was orchestrating this whole drive. He went to Davion Porter. He threw big passes on third down when they really needed to convert. He made good decisions just keeping the football himself. And then finally he comes down here on the goal line, and he could smell that end zone, and he just went for it.
Patrick Ivey's had a lot of playing time tonight for Mississippi Valley State. Strong pass towards the corner, pass complete to Trey Ford. There defensively is Demetrius Johnson, but a nice gain of about 15 yards.
Well, the Tigers defense finally got a chance to get a blow. So let's see if they can step up here and then put this game to bed for the Tigers.
Crenshaw steps out of a tackle, and he's up near midfield. In fact, he may lean into Tigers territory at their 49. The bottom of the pile is Brandon Thomas.
That TSU defense has been fighting and struggling all night, but I would go back to what you said earlier about Mississippi using so many different running backs tonight, and in the second half they're getting some production.
Get the feeling, though, on this drive, the key player is Patrick Ivey, who will operate a quarterback. Crenshaw, though, races into TSU territory down to the 30. That's a pickup of 19 yards and a bolt of lightning.
Oh, right up the middle he went. I mean, the little guy gets inside, and I'm not sure they could see him over the line, but once he got in the secondary, they could see him, and that was a huge play from Mississippi Valley. Now the clock really becomes a factor.
Crenshaw, 5'8", 165 pounds, a freshman out of Alabama, giving the Delta Devils offense a big lift. He'll carry again following his blockers in front, and he is dropped by Wire after he picks up maybe 3 on the play.
It's a big spot for a freshman to be in this game, in this situation with the game down. You're losing by only 4 points with 3:55 to go.
And the Delta Devils on the march. Julian Stafford has caught a touchdown, lines up to the slot to the left. Part of the trips wide receiver package for the Delta Devils. Ivy running the option, pitching to Davis. Angling towards that corner. He's knocked out shy of the marker. It was Justin Wheat there defensively. Conley also involved in the stop. Clock stopped, 3:32 to go.
And you can see Big Davis kind of limping off there, but a good pitch right there by Patrick Ivy, and then Connolly is over there to just finish him off. Good play by the Tigers. And I saw the big guy hop off to the sideline, so we'll see what happens to him, whether or not he returns to the game.
Key play here, 3rd and 4. Ivy's going backwards. He fumbled the football, and it looks like he fell on it, but it'll be 4th and long.
There are the Tigers on defense stepping up to the occasion. And 4 points here. Let's see whether or not they go for the field goal. But what a great defensive stand, and they almost got the football. A lot of TSU players right in there for the fumble.
Justin Wheat near the bottom. 4th and 9. Ivy and the Delta Devils stay on the field, but they'll use a timeout to talk things over with 2:52 to play.
Quentin Salisbury also back there. A host of Tigers in the backfield.
We'll take a timeout. Come back for the final 2:52. Tigers trying to hang on to their 4-point lead.
It's the end of an era.
All the parties, the stories.
I'm gonna miss your smell. You were my first.
What? I knew it. I knew it.
It's true.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I broke your leg. I wrote a song. Sorry. Here we go.
Keep the good times going with the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Whoa. Check out this new couch.
Patrick Ivy wondering where Jerry Rice is when he needs him. The most famous alum of Mississippi Valley State, best receiver in NFL history. He's got some good receivers. May need one here, Butch. 4th and 9.
This could be the ball game right here.
The Tigers will follow with a timeout of their own. It'll be their second timeout, leaving them one left.
I wonder if they saw something they didn't like on that formation and decided, hey, instead of taking the chance, we know this could be the ball game. Let's call timeout here and get our guys prepared for it.
It has been a defensive-oriented game that at times has been chippy and emotional. We've seen some penalties. Game kind of got away from both sidelines in the third quarter, but this has been a fantastic fourth quarter.
It has been, and for Mississippi Valley, they've only been able to get the ball to Stafford one time. They got him the ball more than that, but it's only been productive one time, and that was on the TD pass. Even with that said, you got to go to your go-to guy with the game on the line.
Well, you can catch the TSU football replay in HD after every home game on Tuesdays at noon, only on CSN Houston, the home of Tiger football. I'm with you. Julian Stafford has to be somebody that the Tigers identify. His touchdown tonight gives him 6 on the season. When you consider this is a Delta Devils team that has 13 total on the year, he almost has half from a wide receiver. He's got to be target 1A.
He will be tonight, and I'm sure that's the same thing Darryl Asbury is telling his players over on the sideline is, you know, guys, you've held him in check most of the night. Let's do it one more time.
Stafford lined up as the slot to the right. That's the short side of the field. The Delta Devils need to reach the 20 to keep this drive alive. Down by 4 late in the fourth. Ivy back, throwing right side near the boundary. Stafford caught it. Let's see for the forward progress. It's right at the marker.
It's going to depend on the spot. Boy, he was right there at the marker.
Michael Holmes was there to wrap him up. It was a great play defensively to push him back, but I think it's a pretty good spot.
This is some plays from earlier in the drive. Mississippi Valley running the ball inside with a lot of success. This time coming up right there, number 24, banging his way for, that's Charlie Crenshaw. But, boy, let's see where the officials put this down, because that could go either way.
If really replay were available, there is no doubt we'd be looking at forward progress right now to see if this is enough. I think maybe by a couple of inches it's enough to move the sticks, and we're going to find out.
He got a really, really good spot there. Let's see if the officials stretch it out. I mean, it was very, very close.
And the drive will continue. First down, Delta Devils.
I'd love to take a look at that again, because he was on him as soon as the ball got there. That was very, very, but it's going to continue. Let's take a look.
They have been lining him up, Stafford that is, in the slot. This time they put him to the short side of the field, left him alone, and that's where he is again, although this time he'll be defended by Trey Walker.
This game has too much deja vu on it. Last year it came down to the final minute, and we're heading that way right now.
Ivy. Good cutback. Drop by Walker at the 10, right at the stick. Should be another first down.
Good decision by Ivy to keep the football. At this point, they have more than enough time for their purposes, so they're not concerned about the clock. At some point here pretty soon, we'll see what happens, whether or not TSU gets concerned about the clock.
Speaking of deja vu, it was 2017 last year, Delta Devils. It's 2016. Tigers lead with 2 minutes and change to go as Conley made the stop. Second and goal from the 9. Stafford lined up to the right, defended by Walker. Delta Devils go to the ground, and Jeremy Dobson ran into a handful of maroon jerseys, and he goes nowhere. Wire at the bottom of the pile, so it's 3rd and 9. So really, Butch, this drive kind of comes down, penalties notwithstanding, to 2 plays.
It does. And it looks like that, like I said before, they don't mind running the clock down, because they feel they want to score and have no time left, but the problem is you still have to score.
I would be so concerned about Stafford to the right. They might want to think about shading a safety in that direction, but it's man coverage. Ivy rolling out of the pocket. Has to get rid of the football. Throws it up for grabs.
There it is.
Picked. Intercepted. Dondre Dobbins, his 2nd pick of the year, and he's not done. He's going to go 100 yards possibly, and he was caught from behind. He ran into traffic, and Trey Ford caught him.
And you can, give all the credit to the pressure on the defense, because they got into Patrick Ivy's face on that one. He let it go. He probably could have thrown it away. He had time to throw it away. He tried to force the ball in the end zone, and there's Dobbins with a great play. It went right to him, and he came back. What a great return.
Had Dobbins gone down the sideline, I can't imagine anybody would have caught him. He started to angle back towards the hash marks where he was caught. There's a marker down, probably, you would guess, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and we'll find out here.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 25 on the intercepting team for removing his helmet
off, yeah.
15-yard penalty results in a first down.
You make a big play, you don't want to make a mistake afterwards, but the interception is what everybody will remember. And Butcher point's a good one. He needs to throw this one away, not up for grabs.
Yes, and because he had time to throw it away. He kind of panicked there on the play. Tigers were getting pressure from Justin Wheat. Got in his face, got him a little nervous, and instead of throwing the ball away and coming back for a 4th down, he tried to force it in there, and Dobbins is there for the pickup. But what a huge play for that TSU defense. Once again, coming up with the big play under pressure, making it happen.
The UTSA transfer, Louisiana native Dondre Dobbins, getting hugs and high fives from his teammates. The Tigers in victory formation will have to snap it one more time, and they will have a hard-fought 20-16 win, which will snap this 3-game winning streak in the series by the Delta Devils.
Well, they earned it tonight. I mean, they definitely earned it tonight. They came out in the second half and really, really put forth an effort. And when they needed it the most, like it's been in the past, that defense stepped up with a big play on the goal line, Dondre Dobbins, and he brings it all the way back. And, you know, he didn't get the touchdown, but this is good enough because they got the victory.
One offensive touchdown tonight by Jake Kristoff, who played the bulk of this game, including the entire second half. The Tigers defense made the stand when they had to, and TSU wins it by a score of 20-16, and they improve to 5-1, 3-1 in conference play. We'll step aside, come back, and wrap things up. A hard-fought win for the Tigers, 20-16.
Training is about more than muscle. It's about inner strength. So I push myself. That's why I serve in the United States Coast Guard. I train with the best. A team that shares my drive and commitment. We collect intelligence, guard our shores against drug smugglers, and keep our waterways safe. Because our nation expects more.
If you expect more, maybe you were born ready. Find out at gocoastguard.com.
Ugh, why does she pack these things? I ate one by accident last time, and we won. It's good luck. But it tastes like a dirty old tree branch. What the heck is quino? But this is for first place.
What is that, a loofah?
It's a quino.
Bud Light, for the fans who do whatever it takes.